YouTube. Yeah, this is perfect now. It auto connects instantly with YouTube. Share it on Facebook.
Highly rated as well. VHS 85, Fair Play, and what's his name? I saw Fair Play, VHS, Totally Killer.
Totally
I
Killer.
saw that as well.
Yeah, I think we watched most of the movies. All three of us watched actually.
You saw what's its name as well? Fair Play.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Well, I've got Exorcist Believer as well. Which, truth be told, I don't think we should be giving any spotlight to, but anyway. It could be entertaining.
We are now live. Post. All right. Mela, I think we can start. Mela, guys, I'm going to start with the song. Hey, can you hear it?
Not much. Maybe you have to be on the.
Wait, I had to put it live. Now I can hear it. And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to the Adler podcast. Today is episode number 42. It's good to be back. It's been a while since we recorded, since we last recorded on Monday. Today is Wednesday. Feels like lots of stuff has happened. In fact, the movie list we have this week is really long. Shows we had a very long week and a very busy week. Franco, how's it going?
It's going. I'm still recovering from a very long day. But we're surviving, so I guess we're here. I said first I was like, should I be in it? And I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. I miss some Joe runs as well about Ahsoka. So, speaking of which, how are you, Joe?
I'm doing my best. I probably sound and look a little bit like shit just because I've been fighting some illness for the last.
But you always do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I am resident looks and feel and sounds like shit person on the podcast. No. Just to quell anything over here. I don't do rants about Ahsoka. I just give my opinion on Ahsoka. I like Ahsoka, and we'll finish my Ahsoka thoughts today because the finale has just come and gone. But no, I'm
all right.
I'm slowly getting better fighting the sickness that I'm feeling right now.
All right.
Good.
All right.
So still feeling a little under the weather, Joe, right?
Yes, I apologize to people actually watching. They'll see me blowing my nose fairly often. To the listeners, they probably won't even know because I'll be muting fairly often. But yeah.
Good. All right, guys. In my case, I'm doing okay as well. Had a really long day at work. It's Wednesday. 6 lessons is really tough. It's like I barely have a break. I have 30 minutes to eat, and that's pretty much it. But yes, I'm always looking forward to this podcast. Always looking forward to talking about movies and series and video games. Anyways, guys, let's get into the sponsored section of the episode because the Adler podcast
we are sponsored by
Embassy Cinemas. And this week, there's some interesting stuff going on at Embassy. In fact, this week we have the Children's Cinema Day on the 14th of October, where children can go to visit Embassy for €3. Tickets are €3 and adults at $5.50. Lots of movies there. We just have a quick look at the movies. We've got The Little Mermaid, Paw Patrol, The Mighty Movie, Mafka, The Forest Song, Haunted Mansion, Blue Beetle, Elemental, and Barbie. Guys, has anyone here watched Mafka, the Forest Song? Apparently, it's like a Ukrainian.
It's a Ukrainian
song.
I haven't even heard of it.
Reading about it, I was just having a look at all of them and reading a bit about them. So that sounds like a very interesting. I saw people saying that it's very, very subtle, but it subtly hints into the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Ooh, okay.
But all very, very, very subtly done, and it looks looks good, and even the animation looks very creative and very colorful. I think I'll try and watch it because it really does look good.
No,
So
I only
yeah,
heard about the fact that it is Ukrainian.
yeah, it looks good. At the same time, we've got some other movies at the cinema. Like I said, Nun 2 doing excellently at the box office. We also have A Haunting in Venice, Equalizer 3, great action movie by Denzel Washington. We've got Oppenheimer still going strong. Saw X, which was I was planning to watch this week, but I did not have the time to visit the cinema this week. I'll try and go next weekend. Expendables 4, one for the action movie lovers. And those are the movies that are currently in
And
cinema.
there's also Toy Story celebrating for the 100 years. Oh, what's coming soon?
Yeah, there's I was gonna have a quick look at what's coming soon. Mission Raniganj. Oh, sorry if I pronounced that wrongly. We mentioned Paw Patrol, Retribution, another Liam Neeson action movie. The Exorcist, Believer, still
Hojo
in Malta.
has quite Killers of the Flower Moon, the Mother
And
I know
obviously
it's
on the
only,
20th.
only 1 week until the Killers of the Flower Moon over here. I can't wait.
Is it coming out on the 20th as well there, Joe?
A week today, so that will be the 18th.
18th, okay. And Malta comes out on the 20th. So very, very excited for Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm going to watch it.
I hope I'll be able to read the book before then, but who knows?
The book is fantastic. I've read the book. Really, really good book.
I got the book, by the way, so it's here finally. I mean, it took its time.
Yeah, and obviously we've got Trolls band together. So that's it. Thank you to Embassy for sponsoring this show.
Thank you, Embassy.
I just looked up that Mavka film on Letterboxd on my phone, and they've got a great feature, Letterboxd. I don't know if you guys use it as the app, of people that you follow. You see reviews that they've done recently. And I happen to follow David Sims. He's one of the hosts on the Blank Check podcast, one of my favorite film podcasts, and he's a reviewer and writer for The Atlantic. Very, very respected in his field. And a film that he just recently reviewed. Let's see if you can see it.
Giving it a 4.5 stars.
Andrea, people love this fucking film.
They do, right?
Anyone, and like, I'm looking at the people that have like reviewed it here. Sean Fennessy, another one who works for The Ringer, has the Big Picture podcast. 4 out of 5, and he gives like barely anything a 4 out of 5. People who know what the fuck is up love this movie.
So yeah, get on with it, Andrea. Get on with it.
How many movies I watched this week? Actually, let's get into it then.
What episode are we on right now? What number is this?
Episode 42. This is
42. By the way, guys, we have Keith in the chat and Francesca. Hello, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, guys. Hello, Francesca.
Hey guys, watch The Empty Man. This is now an Empty Man podcast.
Hello, Keith. How's it going, Keith? You know how many movies I watched this week? Let me give you a list of all the stuff I've watched this week. Like, it's just insane. Like, every minute of my life is
You've
watching
got 8 weeks to watch The Empty Man.
True.
8 weeks. You know how many things,
True.
you know how many films I can watch in 8 weeks.
True.
I can watch The Empty Man at least 40 times in that time. I won't, because that's just like that's bordering on mental illness. But
No. Listen to this list, guys. I'm just gonna go through all the movies and series I've watched this week. So I watched 4 episodes of Gen V, which I'll review later on. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I've concluded the Continental. Please note the Continental is 3 episodes. Each episode is like 1 hour 30 to 40 minutes long. So that's like 1, 2, 3 hours, 3 hours 40 minutes. 4 hours 24 hours.
So the Continental is as long as The Empty Man. We got it.
Almost 5 hours long. Almost 5 hours long. That's the Continental, 3 episodes. I watched that as well. I'll review that later on as well. I watched Loki season 2, episode 1. I'm not going to review that because it's just 1 episode. It's hard to review just 1 episode. But just quick thoughts on Loki season 2, episode 1. Fantastic start. I haven't watched an episode on Disney Plus of any Marvel or Star Wars stuff and loved it as much in ages. Since Andor, basically. Since Andor. Andor was the last time I watched something and I was like, yes, this is good stuff. Loki season 2 is very good so far. Very, very good start. Fantastic, beautifully shot. Very good CGI as well, surprisingly, for just a show. And the performance is great as well. Hiddleston is bloody fantastic. Just Loki. I'm really looking forward to this season of Loki, because
You'd
episode one
you'd
was
like to
great.
hope it's good because it's Benson and Moorhead this time round as well.
Yeah, yeah, you can tell the direction
Mhm.
is excellent. Very well. You know, the one thing about it is the writing was a bit, but the direction of the episode was fantastic. Really, really well directed. This episode, like the action was shot so well. I haven't watched Marvel action shot this well in ages. Really, really well done. So I watched Fair Play, which is also a very, very, very good movie. We'll review that later on. I watched Totally Killer, also. It was a good, fun movie. We'll review that later on Prime Video. And yesterday I watched the Caine Mutiny Court-Martial, which I'll review later on. Also a very good movie. That was my week. That's a lot of bloody movies and series. And in between all that, there's a lot of Rebels episodes, by the way. Still going strong on season 3.
This is where it dips a bit in season 3.
It did dip a bit in season 3.
It starts to come back towards the end of season 4.
I can feel the dip. There's a lack of Ahsoka in season 3.
So does
There's
that.
a serious lack of Ahsoka.
There's just like a lack of like any kind of direction in season 3.
Yes, it's like
Season 3, I felt like they were like, we don't know if we're going to go for 3 more seasons or we're going to go for 1 more season. So we're going to waste some time.
It became like the Clone Wars, lots of wasting time.
Oh,
episodes.
just total fucking filler.
I feel like I can skip a lot of the episodes and like not lose anything.
I mean, being completely honest, you can probably skip the entirety of season 3 and just watch like a quick recap.
Shit. Okay. Damn.
That's how good these shows are, guys. You can skip entire seasons to get through them.
It's good. I promise you, it's good. I promise.
No.
You.
I listen. I'm pretty sure I recommended Rebels, and I like Rebels, but you can skip an entire season of that show. In fact, I would say Rebels. Skip season 1, watch season 2. Skip season 3, watch season 4, and you're good. Like,
but it's fun. Which is
easy.
at the end of the day is what matters most in this case. I mean, fair enough. Yes, you can skip. You can skip lots of it, but at the same time, like it's just fun. It's good fun. And I watch it whilst I train, so it's not like I'm watching it. I'm sitting down in front of the TV and saying, "Let me watch an episode of Rebels." No, I train for an hour and watch like 2 episodes whilst I'm training. That was my week. Very long week. Lots of shit there. Franco, what about you? What have you been up to this week?
So I've also watched like 3 movies that felt good. I watched VHS 85. I've watched Totally Clear as well. I've watched Fair Play. I have a bit of all opinions, but a bit of taste there. I didn't love it, but I liked it. But we'll get more into that in the review. And yeah, basically there was a bit of a scare with the Adler podcast because I got a new phone and I had to transfer all my stuff onto the new phone, and suddenly the Adler podcast team received an email that someone from China logged in. But basically, it is my Chinese phone. But it actually, guys, I have to admit, yes, it was China that hacked in, because Xi Jinping personally asked me, like, what is the Adler podcast all about?
Xi Jinping, good question. The Adler podcast is all about series, all about movies, and all about video games. Don't worry, Joe, I haven't forgotten you. You're going to tell us what you've watched. But in the meantime, since Franco gave me the question, this week we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We've got 3 trailers to talk about. First, we're going to be talking about Evil Does Not Exist. Fantastic looking movie. We've got All the Lights We Cannot See, which is a series which has piqued my interest, but then we'll talk about that later on as well when we look at the trailer. And we've got the trailer of a fantastic looking movie called The Iron Claw. If you tell me there isn't an A24 vibe here, you are very wrong, guys.
Stacked cast.
Then we've got stacked cast. Then we've got some news. First of all, we're going to talk about The Crown Season 6, which is coming very soon. Very excited there. Just a quick note there. Then we're going to talk about the poster of Loki. So, although I loved the start of Season 2, there's some controversy there as well. And like Joe said, everyone had a Star Wars movie cancelled. And in fact, so did Guillermo del Toro, who had a Jabba the Hutt movie cancelled. And we're going to look at that article and see what Guillermo del Toro had to say about that. Then we've got a bunch of series. So we've got Joe coming in with the season finale of Ahsoka. I will give you my thoughts on the Continental. we've got The Reckoning, which Joe will review for us as well. Like I said, I'm going to review also the first 4 episodes of Gen V. Then we get into the movies. We've got the Caine Mutiny Court-Martial, which I will review. We've got Fair Play, which all of us have watched. We've got VHS 85, which Franco can review. And finally, we've got Totally Killer, which I believe all 3 of us have watched. So that's it with regard to reviews. Joe, what have you been up to this week?
Apart from being sick, I've actually been up to quite a bit in terms of like watching stuff. I've kept up with Welcome to Wrexham, which hasn't finished yet. That's my comfort show. Finished Ahsoka last week. Went to see Exorcist Believer. More on that later. Watched Totally Killer as well. Watched Fair Play. But I also watched The Reckoning as well, which for people that don't know what that is, just as like kind of preface to that, it is a dramatization of basically all the events around and about Jimmy Savile. The show follows Jimmy Savile from like his early start in his career all the way up until his death, played by Steve Coogan. We'll get to it in the review, but I don't know how. Like in the UK, that show is like it's everywhere, like the buzz about it and stuff like that. Just because the story obviously did happen in the UK, it was a UK personality in this case. So that's just to explain for people that don't really know. But apart from that, haven't been playing any games. But I felt like I've watched quite a bit because even The Reckoning, I started yesterday and I finished today. Like,
Yeah.
So I went through it quite quickly. Being sick does tend to help with that stuff.
Yeah.
To be fair.
How many
I need
episodes?
a week of sick leave, to be honest.
How many episodes is
catch up
it?
on a lot of stuff.
It is 4 1-hour episodes. Also, some news for me. I can like tease for next week. We will actually have a review because they decided to put another screening this Sunday, and you guys are about to be very jealous. On Sunday, I will be seeing All of Us Strangers.
Ooh, nice.
Because Glasgow Film Theatre have managed to get another screening for that.
Well, this was the Adler podcast. Thank you for joining us. I'll go. Jesus Christ, man.
Damn it.
I'm gonna have a big week next week because it's gonna be All of Us Strangers and Killers of the Flower Moon in 1 week.
Illallah.
I mean, at least we do get Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah,
on Friday,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
for
a
sure.
good thing.
Oh, this
I'll
Friday.
go-
This
I'll watch
Friday.
on Friday. No, next Friday.
Next Friday.
Friday 20th. Yeah, release
Book-
on the 20th.
Book me, please. Book me, and I'll pay you later the ticket.
Yeah. No,
I
we
mean,
don't need to.
we don't need to, of course, because Embassy is sponsoring us. Thank you, Embassy, again. And if you also, by the way, guys, also comment on us if you want to be, if you also want to be sponsored by Embassy. Leave a comment down below and tell us what you watched. Tell us any news that you might have missed, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, yada yada yada. You know the drill.
You know the drill. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Hello, Tristan. Francesca is also very jealous, by the way, Joe. And Keith.
I had
again, is also very
a
jealous.
feeling Francesca would be, to be fair.
Yeah, and Francesca also said just now that she wants to see Killers of the Flower Moon. So we have a prickly pair. خليك بالexorcist. So, okay.
I'll be seeing Killers of the Flower Moon in IMAX just to like put more salt in everyone's wounds as well.
No, not fair. That's so not fair. By the way, Joe, how are they showing it this early? All of Us Strangers. Is it like an early?
So
release,
basically,
or is it actually released?
No, it's basically because there's the BFI London Film Festival going on at the moment. They basically got to pick a few films which they show in other theaters around the country, and All of Us Strangers was like so big. They not only they had a screening of it last Sunday, but that sold out like instantly. Right? Like there was no hope in getting a ticket for that. But then like they managed to get it for another day, and literally I just happened to be like, I wonder if like someone like refunded a ticket and like a ticket has come up for the one which was on last Sunday. Then I'm like, oh no, there's another date next week. So I just bought 2 tickets for that like as quick as I could.
Damn.
Good.
Lucky. And Francesca wants you kicked off the show, by the way, Joe.
if she likes, she can take my place. Probably there's probably less controversy with me not here. So
True.
She's a
All
scam.
right, guys, shall we get? Sorry, Franco.
No, she's as capable of replacing you. Okay, Joe. She can fill your shoes for sure.
I think she's absolutely more than capable of replacing me. But the one thing whether she'll be able to replace me or not is, has she seen The Empty Man, and will she
True.
be consistent about it?
True.
Because
Yes.
that's irreplaceable.
Yes, that's a rite of passage to become part of the Adlib crew. Have you seen The Empty Man? Even though, I mean,
Even though our founder hasn't seen it.
yeah, Andrea notwithstanding.
I feel like we should literally try, Franco, slowly. We should like just quite literally turn this podcast into an Empty Man only podcast, where like every episode we hyper analyze like 3 minutes of the film at a time.
Oh my god!
Exactly.
Because it's the kind of film that you could, because like it's like draped in like conspiracy, like the whole thing.
True. Yes,
Okay.
yes. There's a. I think one of the most memorable sequences is when he goes into the forest or into that. So memorable, so good, man.
I can't wait for episode 50 because I really want to watch that fucking film again. So I need an excuse to watch it.
So it's 8 episodes to go. Well, it's a countdown. It's closing in. Andrea, 8 weeks to go. Not 8 weeks to go. It's Christmas as well, but fuck that. It's Empty Man.
Fuck that.
the perfect time of year to watch it, if you ask me.
Exactly. Not Harry Potter.
Let's get
The
into
Empty
it,
Man.
All right, well, let's get into it. So we've got 3 trailers to talk about, guys. Let's start off with the first one. This is one that looks fantastic. And Joe, I know Franco hasn't watched it, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. Hamaguchi, because we have the first Evil Does Not Exist trailer, which released, offering a serene look at Ryusuke Hamaguchi's eco-drama. I like that description, eco-drama. Climate and ecological awareness are some of the most important issues that faces the world today. While there are dissenting voices as to its veracity, most will agree that it is a challenge that requires urgent attention. And Japanese writer and filmmaker Ryusuke Hamaguchi has brought the issue front and center in his upcoming ecological drama, Evil Does Not Exist. The latest film is a silent, contemplative piece set on a backdrop of snow-covered trees and brilliantly clear sky. A trailer from Hamaguchi's latest film places an emphasis more on mood than plot has been released. Joe, at Venice, did you hear any rumors, any information about it? What were the reactions to it? I don't know if you caught on any of that.
I only kind of spoke to one person about it, a friend of mine, Wojtek, a Czech guy. He had been to see it, and his kind of thing was like, "Oh, it's good, but like it's kind of like overlong and a bit weird." He was also very much a champion of the film, I think, The Green Zone by Agnieszka Holland, which he said the theme of like the environment is like very much a big thing at this year's festival. He thought Agnieszka Holland did it a lot better, so that was kind of what I already heard about it. To speak for myself, I've actually never even seen Drive My Car yet. It's one that keeps falling.
Oh, you haven't watched Drive My Car?
No, it just keeps falling down my watch list, and I really need to get to it. But I mean, then the reviews from Venice were good for this film, and the trailer looks good.
Yeah, the trailer looks fantastic. Franco, have you watched the trailer?
Yeah, I watched the trailer. The environment's like makes me miss Korea as well, because it's quite similar to Korean winter as well, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautifully shot as well. I think it's all. Would I be blaspheming if I say it seems like he's the 21st century Ozu, that kind of like contemplative pace?
Ooh, Lalo, that's a statement.
Okay, so it's kind of.
I don't think it's blasphemy, but I think it's pretty obvious that Ozu is one of his inspirations.
No, he's very inspired by Ozu.
100%.
To say he is the next Ozu when this is what? How many films has he made? This is his
second
movie.
Yeah. Second movie.
So, I mean,
Wait, Drive My Car was his first?
Yes, I think it was his debut, no?
Oh, shit. Okay. Maybe I should be a bit more forgiving then with it.
You didn't like Drive My Car?
Well, so let me clarify my thoughts on Drive My Car. So when I watched Drive My Car, that was like 2 years ago, I think. Was that 2 or 3 years ago?
It's definitely not his first film. He's literally the director of 26 films.
Okay. Joe with the fact check over there. Thank you for.
Yeah. So to be fair, looking at his films on Letterboxd, all really highly rated.
So let me explain my thoughts on Drive My Car. So when I watched Drive My Car, I was doing basically my Oscar list like 2 years ago. I think that was 2 years ago. And so I had to watch like 9 movies in basically 1 or 2 days. So I just started watching one movie, second movie, third movie, fourth movie, and like 9 movies total. When I saw that it was 3 hours long, I was like, "Oh shit,
That's not
it's 3 hours long."
that's nothing, Andrea. Because now I realize that he's also the director of Happy Hour, which is 5 hours long.
Oh my god.
But still, apparently, still a strong movie. Like on Rotten Tomatoes is rated 100%, and audience is 87%. And he also has apparently very well. It was released both in the same year as Drive My Car, Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So Ozu, and Bellatar basically with 6 hour movies.
I mean, with regard to Drive My Car, I'm not going to say it's a bad movie. It's definitely not a bad movie. It's a very, very, very well made movie. But it's very slow. It's like super slow. And I spoke about Columbus last week, and I love the pace in Columbus, and that was a slow movie. Love the pace. Maybe it's because I watched 9 movies in a row, and seeing a 3-hour movie after like 6-7 movies was not the play. But I was exhausted, and I could appreciate a very well shot, very well made movie, great performance, some very good writing as well. But I think I was just exhausted by then. So maybe it's a movie that I should rewatch. With regard to this trailer, I'm just going to say it looks fantastic. We don't really get much with regard to plot, which I guess is a good thing. I hate when trailers, and I'm going to mention that in the next trailer, in fact, the next trailer, when a trailer just gives you the whole story. I mean, this trailer just gives you the vibes, those vibes, and it looks great. That's pretty much it, I think. Don't know, guys, if you want to mention anything else about this, or we can move on.
No, looking forward to. I should check Drive My Car for sure, and we should. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's move on to the next one. Before we get to the big one, which is the Iron Claw. Guys, don't know if you've heard of the book, All the Light We Cannot See.
I have, yeah. My girlfriend's crazy about it.
Okay, Joe.
Is it fiction?
Have you heard anything?
Is it fiction or non-fiction?
I believe it's fiction, yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, the book is fantastic. Like a
lot of, my god, the views are going back.
a lot of people agree that the book is fantastic. I mean, from what I've seen about this, the trailer looks okay, but I don't know if you guys have seen any of the early reviews.
So I wrote down some of the first reactions. Let's get into it first, Joe, and then we'll talk about the reviews, so our viewers and listeners will know what we're talking about. So, All the Light We Cannot See, in case you haven't heard, is an adaptation of a very, very popular book. It's basically, I took down some notes here. It's a 2014 war novel by American author Anthony Doerr. I don't know. The novel is set during World War II. It centers around the characters Marie-Laure Leblanc, a blind French girl who takes refuge in her uncle's house in Saint Malo after Paris is invaded by Nazi Germany, and Werner Pfennig, a bright German boy who is accepted into a military school because of his skills in radio technology. The book alternates between paralleling chapters depicting Marie-Laure and Werner, framed with a non-linear structure. Apparently, the writing style is what gets most people. It's like lyrical, and that's what I found out about it. And people love the fact that it tackles certain themes, like obviously the destructive nature of war, and it gets into science, nature, and a lot of these interesting themes. So that's basically the plot. Now, this is going to release on Netflix on November 2nd as a 4-episode limited series. And Joe, I had a look at the first critical reviews. It's at 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it is not good so far.
Correction, 33, by the way, 33%.
33 now? Okay, so since I looked it up yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday, it's gone down even more. These are some of the general comments that I got from IndieWire: central characters, astute, compelling perspective. Less focus on the novel's central characters, astute, compelling perspective, which is a pity because that makes it cliche and monotonous, according to Ben Travers from IndieWire. Hollywood Reporter's Daniel Feinberg thought that by the third episode, the plot barely resembled the novel, with each change making the material louder, clumsier, and less emotionally rich. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Joe, what does your girlfriend think about that?
That's the thing. I kind of had to like break her heart a little bit because she came to me all happy the other day. She's like, "Oh, like you'll be happy to know I actually want to watch 3 movies, which like we have to go and see." She didn't know that this one was going to be a TV series. She thought it was going to be a movie because her whole thing is she loves watching trailers on YouTube. Like she goes into like basically like a K-hole of just like watching trailers over and over again. And this was one she was really excited for because she loved the book so much. And then I looked up and saw it's a series, and then I'm like, oh, like apparently it's not good as well. And she was like, what? But then she was also kind of like, she's very much the kind of like, she's like, oh, like, okay, fuck that. Like I have the book. The book is fucking amazing. Like she's been burnt before. And it seems like recently a lot of literary adaptations from very beloved books are not doing well. Like another one I can think of recently was Where the Crawdads Sing. Another really beloved book, like critically lambasted film.
But the audience, it's very well received by the audience as well. Where the Crawdads Sing.
I don't know. Like my girlfriend and her friend, both very big fans of the book, decided to watch it one night, and they both like were put to sleep in the first 30 minutes. They were like,
"Oh wow, okay, shit."
Yeah, and for them, it should be like they should be the target audience for it. They actually wanted to see it. They were fans of the book. Another one that like, just like to keep my girlfriend in the conversation, that she was excited for was The Goldfinch a couple of years ago with Ansel Elgort. Really, really like well-reviewed book, well-revered. Terrible film, apparently. Forgetting how to adapt literature.
I wasn't even aware that there's a movie, of The Goldfinch, to begin with.
Yep, there is, yeah.
Damn. I mean, this. To be honest, though, it looks production-wise, it looks amazing.
It looks very well made. I mean, it's a Netflix thing. It's going to be well made. They don't make things that look shit.
I'd like to see more of this guy. The guy from Dark, Lewis Hoffman. He's really handsome and good looking. I don't know. Apparently, he's got a good one called The Forger. I haven't seen any of his movies, but yeah. I mean, then again, I mean, you could have a great production, but a shit story, unfortunately, which shouldn't.
Apparently, the writing, the adaptation of the writing is just where it messes up.
And it's Stephen Knight, guys. It's not some.
But it's Stephen Knight, but it's being showrun by Sean Levy, who for some reason keeps getting big jobs.
So maybe
I think that's the big problem here.
So maybe
when I saw that name,
maybe we're better off watching Band of Brothers if you want something.
Band of Brothers is incredible.
It's incredible.
Like in fact, I don't know if we're covering it in the news, but I can't wait for the new one. What's it? Masters of the Air.
Oh, okay.
That looks fantastic.
I haven't heard of that.
You haven't heard of that?
That's
that? With Barry Keoghan and Austin Butler.
What?
Yeah, about fighter pilots. It looks fucking dope.
What? So
how did you guys see it? And I think Spielberg is an executive producer on it as well. Again.
What?
So there's a redemption arc with Austin Butler and Joe here. If you do.
Oh, wait. My only problem with Austin Butler is that his performance in Elvis was much too overhyped. That's not the problem with Austin Butler. It's a problem with the media. I like him as an actor.
So talking about World War II, this is a first look with Barry Keoghan ready for battle, a new series with Austin Butler. Thank you, Joe, for mentioning this. I had no idea this existed.
Yeah. This is my bread and butter. Like for me, like I love World War II, which is a weird thing to say, but I especially love fighter pilots in World War II.
Apple TV, it's also promising. Apple TV is not.
Yes, I hate to say it because they're like a giant corporation, but I love Apple TV.
They make good stuff.
They make really good stuff. Killers of the Flower Moon to begin with.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah.
They have a lot of money, so they have money to throw at creative filmmakers who can do whatever they want. If they want to release a 4-hour movie, go ahead, release a 4-hour movie, as long as people hear of the word Apple and people hear the
I
word
get the
Apple.
feeling
That's
from
all
them,
that matters.
I get the feeling from them, though, that they're very much, because of their money, they very much have no problem with getting in someone very creative throwing the money at them and just being like, just make whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Exactly. That's pretty much it. They have so money that they can just throw money at good creatives or make good movies.
Oh my god.
Fuck it.
Austin Butler really looks the part. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, I very much can't wait for this.
Directed by whom is this directed?
Doesn't say.
Produced by Tom Hanks, Spielberg, and Gary Goldman.
Man, Tom Hanks really loves producing World War II movies. He starred in an Apple TV movie. It was really good.
Oh,
it was on a warship. Good.
Oh no, not Finn, not
Greyhound. The Greyhound.
Yeah, Greyhound. Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah,
that was pretty good, for a
was fun, yeah.
direct-to-streaming movie.
Yeah,
it was a really fun movie.
It was fun. It was
I had
silly.
a very good time. That was, I think that was COVID, right? I think that was COVID, like peak COVID period of time.
No, it was before that for sure.
No, can't be before it because I reviewed it.
2020.
Can't be before it because I reviewed it on my YouTube channel.
Middle of COVID. Because that's what I was saying. Because I'm like, oh no, that's released when I was in Malta. That was when I went back to Malta for a bit during COVID. So yes.
And all these guys love their World War II stuff. To be fair, Tom Hanks, so this looks great. I'm really excited. Yeah, I love Band of Brothers. I love Band of Brothers, and the theme song. Every now and then I hear the theme song. I love it.
In your head? No, okay.
No. I play it on YouTube whilst I'm going to work. Moving on to the last trailer of today, which is one I'm very, very, very excited about. Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White wrestle with Legacy in Iron Claw trailer.
And sorry, I have to mention Harris Dickinson as well, guys. Harris Dickinson really looks good in this trailer. From the few flashes that I saw him in.
So Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White are grappling with tragedy, legacy, and history in the first trailer for A24's The Iron Claw, which was just released today, literally today. This film is a true story centered on the Von Erich family, legendary wrestling dynasty. Their lives and careers are filled with remarkable successes and heartbreaking tragedies. The Von Erich's journey, often likened to the Kennedy family of professional wrestling, has earned them a reputation for being cursed due to the numerous hardships they've endured over the years. Now, I don't know much about wrestling, guys. Do you know how you are with the wrestling lore? Joe.
I'm not going to claim that I'm some like massive aficionado, but I did have my 3 to 4 year phase when I was like probably 9 years old till I was about 14 years old, where I really, really liked wrestling. Obviously, the Von Erichs are not from my time period. I was much more the John Cena time period. It's probably a reason why I still like John Cena to this day. But then I have to admit, like, I have a real soft spot for these kinds of films. Like, particularly like going back to Aronofsky's The Wrestler. I really, really like that film. Because I feel like not a lot of people actually understand like entertainment pro wrestling, because the whole narrative is like, oh, it's all fake. When it's not. It's more like a stage play. It's scripted, but it's not fake. It's only as safe and fake as really in shape 100-pound plus dudes throwing themselves at each other as hard as possible can be. You know, there's like it's in a way it's an art form because there's a lot to it. It's performative. It's grandiose. It's operatic as well. It's there for entertainment at the end of the day.
I mean,
I've got a massive soft spot for it. So I've been excited for this film for a long time. I've been dying for this trailer to come out, and like I'm not disappointed so far.
The directors of Talk to Me started off in wrestling before they became like stunt person. So there you have it.
Yeah. They did.
Yep.
What?
No, they.
Oh shit! That's so cool.
Oh my god, this is becoming a vice. It's like because on Corridor Crew they showed their earliest videos where they were doing like really heavy stuff with wrestling as well.
I can't imagine what it's like to like direct like a big like wrestling program. It must be like hell.
True.
Also, guys, you're gonna hate me for this. You won't see it. Zac Efron would make a good He-Man.
He would absolutely.
He absolutely would.
Absolutely.
Like
I
there was
back that 100%.
like when he's on. See, I'm sorry. I know it's a series. It seems like a very powerful drama. Looks great.
It looks like
Looks
powerful,
great.
yeah.
And yeah, but I'm sorry, he would do. And I loved. What's his name? My God, he was in Minds. Oh God, Mindhunter.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. He played Bill Tench in Mindhunter. He was
He's so
playing the father figure. He's very good.
He's so good as well.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited for this one.
It's fantastic.
I like that they're just like fully going for it, of like the 80s wigs and stuff. Like on the topic of He-Man as well. Like, you know, I was actually thinking about it the other day. You know, films I really miss because like they still have like their cult followings today. Do you remember like the really shitty like Conan the Barbarian or like the Hercules spin-offs? I wish when movie stars like we don't have movie stars anymore that are just like okay with like my thing is I'm good looking and I'm ripped and I'll be in anything which requires me to be good looking and ripped, and it's like a solid like B movie which is like campy and a bit stupid. Those don't exist nowadays. Like B movies especially suck nowadays. There's like no charm to them. Like you say He-Man, I would like try to fund a He-Man movie with Zac Efron, which is made on like a $30 million budget, and it's mostly made of like puppets and like dumbass stuff like that. But it'd be fun and it'd be silly and it'd be charming.
Then VHS 85 is for you. No,
I really need to get to watching those films. I'm thinking of I might get myself a Shudder subscription and just try like watch one thing a day or one thing every other day and just random. I'll go on like Shudder's top rated and just be like, okay, you kind of thing.
Okay.
See what schlocky shit you can throw my way and see if I like it.
I mean, they mostly use lots of practical effects, which makes a whole lot of difference. And ups the camp quite a lot. So that was it for trailers, Andrea.
That's it for trailers. Now we have a bit of news, not too much really. Just for the fans of The Crown, like me, I'm a big fan of The Crown.
The opposite.
Just enjoy your limelight, Andrea. We don't have any comments to say, basically.
Guys, this series is one of the best, if not the best produced series I have ever watched in my life. Like with regard to production design, costumes, makeup, wigs.
We know you love a good costume.
I love a good costume, and I love a good period piece with costumes. The set design, but I think it's one of the most expensive series as well. By the way, just it all looks so freaking good. It looks so good, man. It looks and the storyline that they're going to tackle now, with obviously Lady Di and the whole, you know what,
the whole fact that they killed her.
Yeah, and they don't shy away. Listen, the producers of The Crown don't shy away from the controversial stuff and from criticizing The Crown.
Yeah, that's one thing I've heard, and I'll give them, to be fair.
Which is a really good thing. Like many people criticize The Crown for being too harsh on The Crown, which is a good thing in my opinion. I've seen a lot of people criticizing it for being too harsh on the Queen and like her decisions and. I
really love it when people have sympathy for a monarchy. It begs belief. But anyway.
True. but with regard to the series itself, this is a fantastic series. I mean, just the performances, the act Claire Foy in the first 2 seasons. Oh my gosh, she was so good. I mean, it carries pretty much all the Emmys basically every year. Olivia Colman obviously was Olivia Colman. She was fantastic as well, and Imelda Staunton has done a very good job as well, taking over from them. And this is the final season. So for fans of The Crown, the first 4 episodes of season 6 will debut on Netflix on November 16. And I don't know if I should be upset or happy because they're going to wait for a month and then release the other 6 episodes on December 14, which I guess it's a good thing. But I don't know why they don't just release episode at this point. Like why split up into 2?
Netflix will, after going so hard on we're going to release everything in a day, they now have to start like doing weird strategies before they go back to, you know what, once a week was the best way to do it.
Yes. No, it's going back to that because I was listening to lots of podcasts recently. The guy, that's one video I forgot to mention that I watched, and I will suggest it to the listeners as well. Patrick H. Williams, The Death of Cinema, because he's mentioning that the streaming services are going back to the episode by episode basis, because they're not making, because it's a basically the full episodes thing is not sustainable anymore. So there you go. Also,
I mean, we've discussed this before, right, Franco and Joe? Like, you want people to discuss the episode during their work week. Then it's Thursday, Friday, it's the weekend, they watch it, or maybe Sunday evening, they watch the episode. Then they go to work. Oh my God, did you watch what happened last week? Oh my God, that was so good. And then get everyone excited for next week. Generally pushing up the viewership, because many of these very good series actually see an increase in viewership, not a decrease. Whilst someone might get burnt out, watch 3 episodes on Netflix and be like, oh, maybe I'll stop watching it and continue watching it next time, and then just forget about it.
Yep.
Franco, you're going to say?
I was going to say also, I feel like Helen Mirren is much more a better Queen Elizabeth than Imelda Staunton.
I don't know.
Have you seen
Helen Mirren is
Foyle
one
was
of like
fantastic.
the greatest actresses of all time. So that's all.
No,
Imelda
pretty
Staunton is
safe
also a
take.
very, very good actress.
no. But Astra, I remember watching was it the Queen? What the
That's
Queen
the
with
Queen, right? Yeah.
with Helen Mirren. I don't know. I see her more fit. I mean, I'm not obviously I'm not downplaying Imelda Staunton's talent. It's just the look. It doesn't make it to me. It doesn't make it for me. I mean, then again, I would go if I'm going to go like this. Even Olivia Colman. To be.
Yeah, I mean, there was criticism for Olivia Colman because she didn't look as much as the Queen, and then she carried all the awards, all the best
True.
actress awards. She carried them, and Imelda Staunton, I believe, she won the Emmy as well, right, for her performance as the Queen as well.
I forgot, but
I believe, and you know who's really, really, really good? Elizabeth Debicki as Princess Diana. She is so good, man. She's not going to be in this season.
I mean,
No,
Diana
it's
dies.
new
So
season, which
No, she is going to be.
Okay.
No, I mean, but this is the last season of The Crown anyway. So
yeah.
okay.
so there's not going to be a new season. No, she's.
Wait, Dominic West
she's
is Prince
blue.
Charles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So wait, extremely good looking, excellent jawline, small ears. Dominic West
Olive.
is playing one of the ugliest British men to have walked this earth.
Joe, that's the one casting that I was like.
In fact,
Do I
actually,
buy
it makes sense because a huge fan of The Crown, an ex-fan actually, was my now 91-year-old grandmother.
Oh.
She was such a big fan of this show when it officially came out. Like when she saw season 1, she was like, "Holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever seen." Before season 2 came out, she rewatched season 1 and then watched all of season 2. And then before season 3 came out, she rewatched season 1 and 2, and then she would watch season 3. But then as soon as she's like, I remember asking her like last year, I'm like, "Are you still watching The Crown?" She's like, "No, I don't like it anymore." Like, what do you mean? I said, like, you've watched the first 4 seasons like 3 times each with the amount of times you've rewatched them. And she was like, "No," she's like, "I can't believe it anymore." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because they made Charles good looking and he's really ugly."
But Joe, trust me, the performance is what.
I mean, Dominic West is a
fantastic.
fantastic actor.
He's
Yes,
insane.
Call a spade
He's
a
so
spade.
good. I mean, I'm not the kind of. I know a lot of people get upset when they cast someone who doesn't look as close or similar to the person they're portraying. Personally, I don't really care. As long as they give a good performance, that's all I care about. And Dominic West,
for
great
sure.
actor, great performance. Trust me, he's very good in the Crown.
I think I mostly agree, but I think also when it's someone, like if someone says Prince Charles, I see him like in my head immediately. I think when it's
Yes,
someone
that's true.
as like renowned as that, you have to, as a casting director, make a little bit more of an effort to get someone that looks the part as well. But that's me. Dominic West is a fantastic actor. I don't doubt that his performance is fantastic. So,
And you know what The Crown really does very well as well? The soundtrack for The Crown is always really good. So they make a very. Hans Zimmer had done the theme song of The Crown.
Yeah,
It was very good. Anyways, moving on. This caught my attention because there's been some backlash towards Loki. So I gave some positive thoughts about Loki season 2, episode 1. but there's been some backlash, especially focused around this poster, which looks kind of made by AI, right? Franco, what do you think?
No, can you did you notice that there's a loop which is like doesn't make sense? The loop.
There is a, sorry?
So the loop. Do you notice? So you see where the people are running on that loop. Are you noticing something which doesn't make sense? So first it goes around his head, and then it goes.
and then it turns over there. Yeah.
Oh my god!
And the Loki in the bottom left looks like he would be running more uphill than downhill.
So
this is made by AI. That Loki is made by AI.
But even if you know, even the is that Mbugo? What's her name? She was in Lovecraft Country. I loved her a lot in Lovecraft Country. But the character also, like, almost in front of the forehead is really not. It looks like it pops a lot. Even Ki-Hui Kwan over there. Ki-Hui Kwan's like.
By the way, Ki-Hui Kwan is fantastic.
Ki-Hui Kwan kind of looks like, I'm sure you've seen recently, the Kevin James meme, where it's like him standing, like shrugging his shoulders. It's like
but that's not Ki-Hui Kwan. That's AI Ki-Hui Kwan.
For sure.
He gives so much life to his character in the first episode. He's great. He's really good. Really, guys, trust me. I would really recommend you watch season 2 of Loki. Well, you have to watch season 1, obviously, to understand season 2.
Yeah,
it is.
You lost me there.
No, guys, I think it is AI. Look, notice the Roman numerals behind you, behind. His left eye, and it goes like 3, and then instead of 1 V, it goes 3, like 4 ones. Down, over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. True.
Jesus.
We're just rewriting the Roman numerals now.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. Basically, illustrator Katria Radin flagged the image on X, obviously formerly Twitter, last week, and she claimed, madly disappointed, they're using AI-generated imagery to promote Loki.
Despite
it me that there seems to be more and more media I'd have otherwise enjoyed and been excited for had they not utilized the tech built on the mass exploitation of others. Here's the AI-generated stock image found in the promo. I'm not sure this makes the situation much better. They should be vetting this. And I turned off the replies. Those are silly comments. Licensing photos and illustrations on stock sites has been a way many hardworking artists have been earning a living. I don't think replacing them with generated imagery via tech built on mass exploitation and wage theft is any more ethical than replacing Disney's own employees. Randomly found out my tweets were featured in this and felt a bit embarrassed due to being caught off guard. But I appreciate the article and that they included my statement about the importance of stuff. That's the Collider article on the same. Okay. That's available.
Go back to the full on the X. Go up.
This one.
Up. Even that's one thing. That's really horrible. But again, the mistakes happens twice. Notice the loop. The loop isn't making any sense.
No, the loop makes no sense.
No, even this last Loki.
Even this one here.
It's like he's gonna fall off the edge. Oh yeah.
It's very poorly done.
Yes. No, this is. I would bet money that this is AI. I would bet money that this is AI.
Much like Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion.
At this point, yes, much like in Secret Invasion, you can tell when it's AI, when it's generated by AI. I think by now, having seen enough AI images on X and on Facebook, I can start telling there's a certain look to it when it's generated by AI, and these characters look like they're generated by AI. Let's put it that way. Moving on, final piece of news we have today. Wait one second. Oh, this is the images. Because, Joe, I heard you had a Star Wars movie which got cancelled, right?
I mean, everyone has. According to my friends from Venice, I look like Guillermo del Toro as well, so maybe it was me.
I mean, you do Scottish.
Wait, I'll do you a favor.
Scottish Guillermo del Toro. Okay.
Where are the glasses?
Oh my God. Now do a Spanish accent as well.
I can't do that. I can't do that with like a regular voice. When I'm sick as well, I definitely can't do that.
I had a movie with that was a Star Wars, but with a Scottish.
He's Mexican as well, so like the intonation is like slightly different.
Yeah, for sure. Holy shit, yes. So Adlib exclusive, we have Guillermo del Toro speaking about his his cancelled. We have AI del Toro, basically.
AI del Toro.
Literally, the mom, can we have Guillermo del Toro? No, we have Guillermo del Toro at home.
So here's some information about this cancelled Jabba the Hutt movie. Del Toro was working on the project with screenwriter David S. Goyer, who first teased the news last month on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. There was just a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on at Lucasfilm at the time, but it's a cool script. In response, Del Toro tweeted, "True, can't say much, maybe 2 letters J and BB. Is that 3 letters?" Now, Del Toro has confirmed that the project did, in fact, revolve around Jabba. We had the rise and fall of Jabba the Hutt, so I was super happy. He said during the recent Collider event, we were doing a lot of stuff, and then it's not my property, it's not my money, and then it's one of those 30 screenplays that goes away. Sometimes I'm bitter, sometimes I'm not. I always turn to my team and say, good practice, guys, good practice. We designed a great world. We designed great stuff. However, he has no hard feelings towards Lucasfilm. Guys, what do you think about a Jabba the Hutt movie, first of all? Do you think we needed a Jabba the Hutt movie?
So first, Francesca says, okay, definitely keep him on the show for Joe. So you have to wear the glasses to be on the show now. Now, since you are Star Wars nerds, I let you have the talk. Floor.
Joe, what do you think?
I think if anyone was going to make a Jabba the Hutt movie, probably pretty good in Guillermo del Toro's hands. Do I think he should do it? No. I think he should do the things where he'll have actual freedom to do it. Like he's finally getting his Frankenstein movie.
Oh, that looks so good.
But yeah, as I said off air before this podcast went out, everyone in like the New Year's of Lucasfilm when they were bought by Disney, everyone had a fucking Star Wars movie in the works. And as Guillermo del Toro said it there himself, he said it's one of those 30 scripts that just never gets made. Like we definitely haven't heard the end of like, oh, this person was going to make this Star Wars project, So for me, it's like I kind of just like shrug my shoulders and go, okay, kind of thing. Star Wars, like Disney and like Lucasfilm, they haven't like shown that they're going to do anything bold anytime soon. The boldest thing they've done is Andor, and the only reason they greenlit Andor is because Rogue One was a success. And because Tony Gilroy really wanted to make it. So they're not going to do anything bold and original that does not feed into the Jedi and into the Skywalker saga whatsoever. So
pretty much. Joe, have you seen the cast of Frankenstein?
Yes, I have.
Like Mia Goth.
Very excited.
Oscar Isaac.
He was actually
Andrew Garfield.
He was in Scotland last year in Edinburgh. He was location scouting for the film. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't walk around Edinburgh quite literally trying to find him. Or trying to find myself, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Or find Mia Goth.
A self-discovery journey by
Christoph Waltz. Oh my God, Christoph Waltz. This is a fantastic cast. This is one movie I'm really looking forward to. Do you think Christoph Waltz will?
Joe, you're right. I don't see Guillermo del Toro doing Star Wars.
I think he's definitely open to it because he's the kind of director he'll kind of say yes to anything as long as he finds a creative spin on it.
Yeah, but it's like we also didn't have the Guillermo del Toro Lord of the Rings. I wonder why. Because
yeah, that's a big pity.
It would have been.
I wish we got the Hobbit. Guillermo del Toro.
We will never know. It could have been even worse.
Could have been even worse, Joe.
No, even worse.
Could it have been even worse?
Yes. It can always be worse. It can always
be worse. But man, that's
the Hobbit trilogy was bad, but it can always be worse.
It can always be worse. Fair enough. Anyways, guys, so one last thing I want to say about this. Jabba the Hutt is you could make a good crime movie there with like monster elements that Guillermo del Toro always wants to include in his movies. So I think there was a potential movie, but at the same time, like Joe said, no, just let Guillermo del Toro, give him freedom to create his own, movies and projects. More creative freedom is always better for great directors like Del Toro.
Gangster Star Wars. Huh. Okay. I mean,
Yes, because it's a crime family.
true.
Yeah, but
So
you just
there
know,
is-
you just know as well he was going to find the human side in a monster, because that is like every film he's ever made.
True.
Literally every
True.
single one of his films. Like that's why he's doing Frankenstein. He's basically done Frankenstein every movie he's ever made.
True. But
true.
don't.
This isn't me being reductive or saying his films are bad. His films are beautiful, and I love his films. But he does have a thing.
Okay, Francesca,
yes.
shall we still keep Joe on the show now after this take? Is like
I'm praising the director that I love. I'm just acknowledging that he has a theme.
for sure.
I'm getting
for sure.
attacked from all angles, man. First, apparently I do rants about Ahsoka, and I'm apparently putting down myself.
Talking about Ahsoka, shall we get into the reviews, guys?
Oh, my
So,
love.
first of all, viewers and listeners, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it. Give us a heart on Spotify if you are listening to it on Spotify. And as always, subscribe, comment, let us know your thoughts about all the trailers we've watched and all the news we've talked about today. Let's get into the reviews. And Joe, we'll start off with you. No spoiler review for the season finale of Ahsoka, although, like I said, I pretty much opened Twitter X and had the whole final episode spoiled because that's what
To put you at
social
ease,
media likes to do.
to put you at ease, you didn't have that much spoiled, because now I can actually finally say at the end of all this, at the end of 8 episodes, 8 near 1 hour episodes, not that much happened.
Wow.
Because you basically had the first 3 episodes were typical Star Wars planet hopping nonsense, where they go to a planet every 10 minutes.
Spoiler
And
alert.
Then you had from episode 4 onwards, they're on this one planet, and it's a bit more focused, and that's where the show is at its best, when it's a bit more focused. To speak about the last episode as a whole, one thing it did really improve on, we get our first good lightsaber fight in this episode. It only took 8 hours, guys, but we got our first good lightsaber fight in this. I don't really know how to feel about the show. As you can see, it's actually lost 0.2 of a rating from last week, because I believe it was an 8 on 10
True.
from that. I did think the finale was one of the better episodes, just because it was very fast moving but engaging, and the action was good, and there were some like cool things in there involving certain factions that I can't mention due to spoilers. But to speak about the show like as a whole, again, I say it every week, this is made for the Clone Wars and Rebels fanboys. This is a direct sequel to Rebels. I still don't know how it is going to tie the original trilogy to the sequel trilogy. I don't know why that is the decision here. In terms of resolution, you kind of get none for any of like the big things. There's also a very big problem involving Ray Stevenson for obvious reasons. But even like his character kind of starts out in the first couple of episodes as like he's probably the big bad, but then he kind of just becomes a side character as it gets towards the end of the show, which is a shame, because like he's a good actor, he's compelling, he actually looks good in this show. But it's a weird one for me, because overall it's pretty solid. The first couple of episodes are pretty bad, if you ask me. Some of the like, not the writing as a whole, like its through line is good of the story it wants to do, and I can see like what it is going for. There's a lot that doesn't make sense, and there is such, I say this every time I mention the show, there's such defiance of Star Wars logic at a lot of turns in this, and there's a pretty huge moment in the final episode where even I was just like, okay, come on, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know where it's going to go. It doesn't have answers for everything, and it doesn't feel like it's going to give answers for everything. I wish I could speak about them plainly and openly, but I will not. Just because they're very frustrating things that I feel like I actually could rant about if I wanted to, which I know Franco wants really badly if I can't. But overall, like it's pretty solid. I kind of like, how can I compare it to like other Star Wars stuff? I can't really compare it to other Star Wars stuff. it's a lot like season 3 of Rebels.
So where like season 3 of Rebels. Oh boy.
Where things are happening, but you don't know if there is a coherent plan for it to go forward. And it feels like you definitely could have done it in one really focused season of maybe 12 episodes. I don't know if you need another season, a whole other 8 episodes, and then a movie on top of that.
No.
But the movie will join everything together, so it won't just be like Ahsoka. There'll be like the Mandalorian and all that shit.
Oh my god, we're getting fucking the Avengers of Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Baby Yoda. There'll be Baby Yoda, Joe.
How did we get here? How did we get here?
The more realization.
I can't believe how naive I was when I saw the first episode of The Mandalorian and had like a different tone. I can't believe how I thought like, maybe with these TV shows, maybe they're going off and they're doing their own things. How wrong
were you?
I was. It's that thing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Every Frame a Painting. There's a really good YouTube channel back in the day, but he had coined this term which I really liked. It was all about intertextuality, which intertextuality is the relation of text to other texts. And he had this term called weaponized intertextuality, and that is exactly what Disney with Marvel and Star Wars, what they are doing. It is all weaponized intertextuality. Like it's even got there, like the big banner on IMDb is Star Wars cameos in Ahsoka. We can't do without having Mon Mothma and Anakin Skywalker and C-3PO.
Guys, you have to watch the Red Letter Media review of Rogue One, because it is literally about what you're talking about, Joe.
Yeah.
And like the fan reaction and how everyone gets excited about next project.
I mean, it's like the thing they did with the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian. Like I said, a better way to do it if you're creating your own like new shit. Don't have Luke Skywalker fucking turn up in really bad CGI. Have Cal Kestis from the videos turn up. Expand. Move beyond the things we already know. Take a fucking risk. Like one thing I will say about Ahsoka is it takes zero risks, to the point where something really big happens at the end of episode 1, I believe. It like ends with the episode, and you're like, holy shit, are they taking a risk? But then you go, of course not, this is Disney. And then sure enough, you start the next episode and the risk is completely averted.
But Joe, I think maybe I'm going to be a bit harsh here, but I think expecting risk from Dave Filoni is...
Oh, no, I don't expect risk, but this is like so no stakes. Like
because Filoni makes
the show is okay.
Good Star Wars. Safe, decent Star Wars.
Not necessarily true, because he took a huge risk with the end of Rebels Season 2. With what he does there. And he leaves it very open, the end of Rebels Season 2.
He leaves it very open. But you know, right. I'm not going to spoil it, but
I watched Rebels like as it came out. I was one of those losers. But that was teased for ages of whether Ahsoka was actually going to be alive or not. And that was it was great for their marketing, but it was also like, oh, they actually kept us in the dark there for a little bit. This show does none of that. It's so like black and white in terms of its like stakes and its risk. And again, the show is okay. It's fine. Like some of the action is like pretty bad in the opening episodes. The Starship stuff is good. It looks good like CGI wise, and they're using some practical things here.
I was going to ask you, Joe, the volume. What about the volume? Because I saw some discussion on X, which was interesting, about the use of the volume in like these Star Wars shows and all these different like movies. And I think the only two things that I noted were like, yes, the volume was used good, was Mandalorian season 1, and I can't remember what other thing, and the Batman also. Greg Fraser made very good use of the volume in the Batman.
Yeah. I haven't really thought about it too much in this show. Like, its soundtrack is okay. It doesn't have, like, one thing I'll give the Mandalorian is that the Mandalorian theme has now become pretty iconic. This doesn't have an iconic theme. It's pretty bland in terms of soundtrack. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about this show anymore, because I think you can tell I want to get really stuck into it in certain things, and I can't. And as soon as Andrea has watched it, I plan to go ham on certain things. And I can just see Andrea being like the complete, you will be the Jedi to my Sith when this comes around.
It'll be interesting, Joe. I always on this podcast I always say what I think. Like if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Like my objective with the YouTube stuff and so on is always like to give my thoughts, whether it's popular or not, whether people are going to agree with me or not. I'm just going to say like I liked it, I loved it.
No, of course.
I didn't like it, I hated it.
Yeah.
So like Francesca said, hashtag save Joe and hashtag cancel Andrea, basically.
No,
So, wait,
I haven't said whether I love it or hate it.
with
so far.
Francesca, I've gone from being told to get off the show to being told I can stay to now having a hashtag in my name.
Yeah. Je suis Joe. Hashtag je suis Joe.
Well. Let's move on, guys, to the Marvelification of the John Wick world. No.
Stop. Don't give them ideas. Don't you dare give them ideas, Andrea, please.
Because the title of the series is The Continental from the World of John Wick. That's the actual title. That's the full actual, like the Gran Turismo title. Gran Turismo based on a true story or based on a real story. Like one long fucking title. Anyway, so The Continental, it's got a 7.3 on IMDb. Interesting. So I'd say The Continental. So first of all, it's a 3-part mini-series. Each episode is like 1 hour, 30 minutes long, more or less. Last one is a bit longer, like 1 hour, 40 minutes. I'd say it's, yeah, Franco?
Quick note, why does the poster look like it's Harry Potter and not the Continental?
It's Harry Potter.
I mean, no, it looks something like it's something like, what is he holding? Like
a wand.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he's holding his gun. I'm going to get into the look of the show in a bit, but it's basically, I'd say, if I had to give my impressions, it's solid, not spectacular. It's definitely not John Wick, let's put it that way. So it's basically a spin-off. It's kind of like a prequel, right? Because it's set in the 70s. Same world of John Wick, like the title lets you know. Basically tells the background story of Winston Scott in an alternate history 1970s. It's basically the setup. We see how kind of like Winston comes to be the proprietor of the Continental. Basically seeing him take on Mel Gibson, who is the antagonist in this series. Obviously Mel Gibson, lots of controversy there, lots of people hating on this series because there's Mel Gibson in it. I know Mel Gibson is a very controversial character. With regard to his performance, I'd say he overdoes it at times, but for the most part, his performance is the best performance here. He's you enjoy watching Mel Gibson as the antagonist in this show. Positives, for the most part, not a surprise that the action is done quite well. It's not as good as John Wick, mind you. Stunt work isn't as good as John Wick. The effects aren't as good as John Wick. It's not as creative as John Wick. But overall, for a series, for a straight-to-streaming show like this, which is actually quite long, episodes of 1 hour and 40 minutes, it's done quite well. So overall, the action is done quite well. Like I said, Mel Gibson is quite good. Young Winston, Colin Woodall, overall, I'd say he grew on me. In the first episode, I wasn't buying it, but by the third episode, yeah, I was like, yeah, that's young Winston right there. Peter Green is also very good in this. He's a sniper. He's actually very good in this. I'd say it's an overall fun series. That's it with regard to positives. Because I have a lot of negatives to say about this. First of all, pacing. Now, the fact that this is 3 episodes and each episode is like 1 hour, 30 minutes long puts it in a bit of a weird place where it's like, it's not a movie. It's not a series. It's something in between. Because each episode is like 1 hour, 30 minutes long. But at the same time, it's not a trilogy because you don't have like a story being told in episode 1, a story told in episode 2, a story told in episode 3. It's just the same story told in 3 episodes, but each episode is like 1 hour, 30 to 40 minutes long. So it's somewhere in between a movie and a series, and that really hurts the pacing of this show. The first 2 episodes are a lot of build-up, because there's a lot of characters. And that, I would say, is the biggest flaw of this series, is that it focuses on too many different characters without focusing enough on the world building, which is what I thought this series would be about. It's literally in the title, The Continental. I thought this whole series was going to be world building for the John Wick world, for the Continental and the different assassins and killers you have in the Continental. It's not. It's just shown in the final episode, the last few minutes of the final episode. That's pretty much it. What else? Visually, I'm not going to say it's an ugly show. It's not. It actually looks quite good. It just doesn't look as good as John Wick. Let's put it that way. John Wick, fantastic looking. I always talk about the neon lighting, really great. And John Wick, it's not here, right? This is the 70s. Of course, the 70s needs to look a little more gritty, a little darker. And to be fair, it does tackle the 70s quite well, tackles some interesting themes in the 70s, like post-war, PTSD, and so on and so forth. The music is very good, but it overdoes it. Every 2 minutes, you have a new needle drop. So whilst I love the music, I love 70s music, like I love the music. It's like every 2 minutes you expect a needle drop, and every 2 minutes you get a new needle drop, which is overdoing it. Those were my overall thoughts on the Continental. Should you watch it? Are you like the biggest John Wick fan ever? Do you really need to know about all there is to know about the world of John Wick and how Winston got to take over the Continental? If you do, watch it. If not, this is very skippable. Final rating for the Continental, 2.5 or 3. Somewhere between a 2.5 or a 3. 2.75. No. I'll give it a 2.5. It's not worth. I'd say it's very skippable.
But I think that
moving on. Yes, Franco.
Would I be wrong if I say this kind of things should be written by comic book artists, because they have a better idea of a series over multiple episodes, and they have a better idea of a story, of a through line, especially if they jump like through time periods, and you want to establish the world building. Because if we didn't manage to do that, and he's telling me it's neither here nor there. It doesn't know whether it wants to be a movie or a series. It's not.
And the big issue here is you've got so many characters. It spends the first 2 episodes introducing like so many different characters. You don't need them. To just keep them in the background. That's why you don't need like character development for every single, because it slows down the pace so much. Just focus on Winston, focus on Mel Gibson, focus on the Continental, have like some fun-looking assassins, and have them juke it out. John Wick is a simple story. John Wick doesn't have a very complicated story.
True.
Why? I don't know why they complicated it so much here with so many side characters and different side stories. And he's come from Vietnam, and she has PTSD, and she has her father, and her family was killed by them. And there's so many different like small side stories here that bog it down way too much and really ruin it. Unfortunately, really ruin it. There was potential here, by the way. There was potential here, but just doesn't get there. Moving on, Joe, want to give us your thoughts on The Reckoning?
So yes, The Reckoning. I can't really spoil this one, but this is a ITV production, and it says here, the story of Jimmy Savile's life from his working class roots to his rise to TV stardom as a BBC presenter and his later years when he managed to keep his reign of sexual abuse concealed until after his death in 2011. I think we're all pretty familiar with the terrible, shocking story of Jimmy Savile, but I wasn't really planning on watching this when I was hearing it coming out, because I was like, I'm not going to really learn anything new with the dramatization of this. But then it started to get quite a bit of buzz, particularly around Steve Coogan, who plays Jimmy Savile, and I'm a big fan of Steve Coogan's, always have been since like the Alan Partridge days. And he is definitely the best part about it. He's astoundingly good. And it's a weird thing because like normally the characters Steve Coogan plays are kind of like likable assholes. But in this, he's playing quite literally like a human monster. Someone like you wouldn't even like class as human. Like the crimes of Jimmy Savile are many and all completely unforgivable. But it's just the way he's able to, I think he kind of gets across that thing which you need to do in a show like this of, one, just how untouchable this person was. because few fun facts about Jimmy Savile, which I actually did not know before watching this. But not only was he knighted by Margaret Thatcher, he was also given a papal knighthood by Pope John Paul II, harborer of paedophiles. So I guess it
What?
makes sense.
I knew the knighthood, but I didn't know this.
Yeah, papal knighthood by the Catholic Church, but because Pope John Paul II was actually a friend of his. So yeah, not only was this man untouchable, but Coogan manages to portray this kind of like, and you see it like if you've watched documentaries about it, like I've even watched the Louis Theroux piece on it where he spent a number of days with Savile when he was alive. But he gets across this kind of like, this guy that is so confident and so untouchable, but then is able to like cross the line, but then just brush it off like it's nothing. And then people believe it and they go, oh no, that's just Jimmy being Jimmy kind of thing, which is like one of the biggest problems we have as a society. Like the whole boys will be boys and stuff like that. It's not very long. It's only 4 episodes of about an hour each. It can be stomach turning at points because I don't think it's not very showy or gratuitous, but like the situations it puts you in are like genuinely like stress inducing. Like, as I said, sick to your stomach situations, which some unfortunate characters find themselves in with this Jimmy Savile guy. But it is good. My biggest problem about it is because the thing you hear about Jimmy Savile over the years, he was a BBC presenter and stuff that came out. So the organization that broke the news story about Jimmy Savile back when they unveiled him as like this like mass sexual predator and pedophile was an ITV journalist, and it was the ITV documentary team that did it. And this is produced by ITV Studios. But then it's really strange to me that this is being shown, and you can see it there in the top left corner. It's being streamed on BBC iPlayer. Because the whole thing that you hear about Jimmy Savile is that when he was at the BBC and he was committing these crimes, everyone knew he was committing these crimes, but they were just turning a blind eye because of how powerful he was. Now, my kind of one theory on this is obviously the BBC was very different back then. I don't think the same people that were in power back then are still in power at the BBC. I could be just completely wrong about this. Okay? I'm just using the words I think before all of this because I don't know. And I think this is a way for the BBC to kind of be like, we are going to stream this show as a way of condemning those previous people that worked for us and might have known what was going on. I don't know. I think it's a weird decision because ITV could have probably just streamed it themselves. But that's like my biggest thing where I'm like, this is a little bit weird kind of thing. But it is good. It's a tough one to recommend because it's well made. Performances are really good and you will learn some things, but it can be a tough watch at the same time.
How many episodes, Joe?
Just 4. It's a mini series, so it's 4
1
hours
hour
long.
long episodes?
Yeah.
Nice. I'll check it out.
It's worth, if you're a fan of Coogan, worth it for his performance because he is like, it's like watching Jimmy Savile. It's like unsettling how good he is.
Damn.
Joe, what rating would you give it, by the way?
Solid 4 out of 5.
Nice. Okay. Definitely worth to watch then. Watch this, don't watch the Continental. To conclude the series, and then we'll get into the movies, just really quick thoughts on Gen V. Now, getting into Gen V, Franco, I think it was me and you. We had a look at the trailer as well.
Yeah.
Our first impressions were quite positive, kind of like it looks, bloody, just like the boys and everything. But I was still a little uncertain. Like I said when we talked about the trailer, I was still really scared it's going to get too much into the like teen drama stuff. But I should have known this is written by the creators of The Boys. I should have known it wasn't going to get into that. I mean, it does get a bit into that stuff, but it does it very well. It does it very The Boys way. So what is Gen V all about? Gen V is a spin-off of The Boys, of course. It tackles The Boys comic book story arc We Gotta Go Now by Gareth Ennis, of course. And it's basically continues after, I believe, season 3 of The Boys. Is season 3 the last season of The Boys?
I think so, yeah.
I think it is. I believe it is. Anyway, I might be wrong there. Anyways, our main protagonist is Marie Moreau, who, by the way, I hope to see in the next season of The Boys because she is so good. And basically, her special power is to control blood and use it as a weapon. We see her like warning here. I'm going to talk about some pretty bloody, disturbing stuff. But basically, what she has to do is she cuts her wrist and controls the blood, like blood that releases from her wrist, and then uses it as a special as a power. Right? She attacks people, can use it to. There was one scene, Franco.
How Mortal Kombat, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's the boys, right?
It's
the
very,
boys.
but very Mortal Kombat, like controlling blood.
There's one scene where she uses her blood to like use it as a lasso to stop someone from escaping. There's another scene I can't spoil, but oh my god, like, there are moments in this show where I've been watching it with my girlfriend, and we've been having a blast watching it. I'm just like, what the fuck was that? Like, there are so many what the fuck moments. Like there's so much dick humor in this show, and you would think that it's just like it gets too ridiculous, or maybe it's a bit like shock. And yes, obviously there is a lot of shock factor in Gen V. Like there is a lot of like that whole shock factor in the boys, but it's so well done. CGI fantastic. The blood effects look so good, man. How do they make a show about superheroes look this good? I don't get it. Why can't Disney Plus shows, which aren't Loki, look this good? Like, I don't get what's going wrong with the Marvel shows when the boys and Gen V can look this good. And the effects and the superpowers look great. Lots of crazy what the fuck moments. Like I said, great performances. I think, what's her name? Jazz Sinclair, Marie Moreau. She's so good. And Liz Broadway, she is the heart and soul of this show. As Emma Mayer, I'm so scared that she's going to die. That's her. Little Cricket. She's the heart and soul of this show. She's so good. Obviously, being a spin-off of The Boys, lots of social commentary, very well done social commentary, which attacks both sides of the political spectrum. It's an overall just fucking great show. Watch it. Well worth your time. If there's one show you need to watch right now, it's Gen V. I'm telling you, it is that good. It's so good. Right now, we're on episode 4. Episode 5 comes out on Friday, and I'm really looking forward. I'm like, just counting down the days to watch the next episode of The Boys. So of Gen V, sorry, not The Boys. So overall, highly recommend it. Obviously, the rating I'll give at the end, but so far, if I had to give a rating, I'd give something like a 4 or 4.5, because so far it's been very good. So that's Gen V. Let's move on to the movies, and shall we start off, Franco?
Yeah.
Which would you like to tackle? Would you like to do Fair Play or VHS 85, Totally Killer?
I think we should start the individuals like VHS 85.
Franco, do VHS 85. I'll do Caine Mutiny Court-Martial, and then we'll get into Fair Play and
I've got The Exorcist as well.
And The Exorcist.
So
yes.
we can start with The Exorcist. So we remove a weight off his shoulders for it.
Are you a believer, Joe?
I've got a good funny little anecdote to start off my review of The Exorcist with.
Okay.
So obviously, The Exorcist, directed originally by the great William Friedkin, recently passed away. Very sad. But I came across, when I was on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it, film critic Ed Whitfield. He did not like The Exorcist Believer, but he revealed this funny conversation he had with William Friedkin shortly, I think a couple of years ago when it was announced.
God, I was going to mention it.
When it was announced that David Gordon Green was going to direct this film, because they were quite friendly, apparently. He said, William Friedkin once said to me... Wait, give me 1 second, guys.
I have it here because I wrote it down, Joe. Do you want me to share it with you?
No, I've got it here. Sorry
okay.
It said, William Friedkin once said to me, Ed, the guy who made these new Halloween movies is about to make one of my movies, The Exorcist. That's right. My signature film is about to be extended by the man who made Pineapple Express. I don't want to be around when that happens, but if there's a spirit world and I come back, I plan to possess David Gordon Green and make his life a living hell. And apparently that's exactly what's happening.
What an absolute legend.
William Friedkin, just one of the all-time great shit talkers, like to ever walk this earth. Didn't take any bullshit and like was just completely himself.
Friedkin so much.
But as you can see, this has a 38 on Metacritic. I'm not even going to give you the plot of this film because the down low of it. In fact, all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to read you what I said about this film on Letterboxd, and then we can move on. If my Letterboxd decides to load, which it is not currently, because I had some good ones in there. Basically, I was coming up with like all these witty ones of like how to describe this watch, and I tried, like, I knew this film was going to be bad going into, but I tried to be like, look, open mind. I could like, these people could be wrong. They could be being really harsh. Maybe it's not too bad. But all I said about this film, I gave it 1.5 stars. So that's already a good start. But I said the utter disrespect to Ellen Burstyn almost made me up and leave. It is devoid of scares and tension, and it's just pretty flat out boring. And it's long at 1 hour and 51 minutes. And if David Gordon Green was Christ, his power would certainly not compel me. And that is all I have to say about The Exorcist Believer. This guy, it's like he wants to take all my beloved horror franchises and shit all over them. And he tries to be like intelligent about them, like, oh, like we're putting social commentary in them. You are just, this is not your thing. Go and make Pineapple Express too. You know,
the patriarchy didn't want to let me.
Oh my god!
Sorry.
That was like such like, this is like, and this is gonna sound really offensive to a lot of people. This is such like a fucking zillennial fucking dumbass script writer that's putting this line in this movie, because it's like you didn't even watch The Exorcist to throw that line into that film, because the reason Chris McNeil, Ellen Burstyn's character, wasn't allowed in the room in the original Exorcist is because
it's because of the patriarchy, Joe. Come on.
No, I think it was because of the fucking pronouns.
But yeah, like I tried to be like, when I watched this film, I was trying to be like on like my kind of like best behavior. Because to be fair, the friend I went with listens to this podcast, so Alice, you will find out my true opinions on it. Because to be fair, after I watched it initially, I was kind of just like, you know what? I don't hate that. There's a lot of that I don't like, kind of thing.
No,
and
you
as
hate it.
as a couple of days, fuck, I hate that movie. Because it was just like the very best thing about the original Exorcist is that for the most part, you are with one, maximum 2 people seeing this terrible thing unfold, and them having to come to terms with the fact that this is real, and it's very much a fuck around and find out situation, and they have to resort to this almost ancient technique in order to try and have a chance of saving this young girl. You know, you go from the Chris McNeil character, like, obviously loving her daughter, but like being very much a socialite and not having too much time for her, and very much not a religious person, to being driven insane to only like resorting to getting an exorcism for her daughter. In this film, you've got like, I mean, spoilers, in the final exorcism in the room, you have like 6 people in there, and there's all these and like the whole like possession thing. It's like 1 minute these girls are fine, the next day they're like, they look utterly demented and they're like scarred all over and stuff like that. Like there's no progression. There isn't that like sinister air. Also, like there's like no demon in this. Like one of the big things about The Exorcist was like, this isn't the devil. It's actually Pazuzu, who's a demon who's related to like evil spirits and the devil and stuff. None of that in this. Even though they plan to make another 2 of these movies, but all I'm going to do, I'm going to do a slow clap here for Universal. 400 million well spent.
Jesus, 400 million to buy this.
400
Joe,
million.
did you see the news?
Exorcist.
Did you see the
Which
news
news?
that they're not going to cancel the Exorcist trilogy, because this is supposed to be a trilogy, but apparently
It's all planned out. No, it's there.
they're going to change the direction, though.
Are they going to get rid of Gordon Green? Because they should.
I don't know about that.
So you're not a fan of his first remake of Halloween?
I fucking hate that movie.
Ostia? Okay.
It takes everything really good about Halloween. To be fair, for a Halloween sequel, it's not bad, because all the Halloween sequels are not good. But it doesn't take any of the good things from Halloween and incorporate them and somehow make them better. It makes it a really cliche every slasher film I've ever seen.
Okay.
Which
So
like, again, like I can't understand studios wanting to be like, with Halloween invented the slasher film. You're not going to reinvent the slasher genre by remaking a Halloween movie or making a belated sequel to it. The Exorcist pretty much invented like possession films. It was like the biggest one, huge hit, people screaming and leaving the cinema and being sick and stuff like that. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. And apart from the fact we get a fucking exorcism film every year. I think we had 2 this year. Wasn't the Pope's exorcism this year as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pope's Exorcist.
You know,
That's
you're not going to reinvent
movie.
anything by reviving and trying to like reboot and remake these beloved horror films, which changed the game in their heyday. You are relying on an IP again, guys, weaponized intertextuality. You know, rather
but
than
this
making...
was Joe. This was a. I'm not going to say it was like a wow movie.
Oh no, this is
just
fine.
a decent.
The Pope's
Exorcist
Exorcist is fine. It's just an exorcism movie, but it is not related to
Exactly.
the Exorcist franchise, which has now become a franchise for
No.
some reason. That's my point. If you want to make a film about an exorcism, go ahead, do it. I don't see like there is no reason for Ellen Burstyn to be in this new Exorcist film, and her whole character is fucking so asinine. Do you guys want to know what she is in this film? Do you guys plan to watch it? Because I don't recommend that you.
No.
Okay, so spoilers from here on out for anyone still listening to me shit on this film. Her character in this film is obviously she is still Chris McNeil, but it turns out after Reagan went through that whole exorcism, she then researched exorcisms and all kinds of religions. After that, she becomes like the foremost expert on exorcisms without being an actual exorcist herself. She writes this book, and then because of the book, Reagan like leaves her and wants nothing to do with her. And the reason she gets back into this film is because this guy tracks her down to come and see his daughter, who is possessed by whatever. We don't know what he is possessed by. But apparently this demon knows who she is as well. So I don't know if it's Pazuzu again. Again, we don't get a name. And she comes into this film as a like advisory role for 5 minutes. And then in the next scene, she walks alone into a room whilst this girl is like undergoing severe possession. And the girl decides to stab her in the eyes and blind her. And she spends the rest of the movie sitting on a hospital bed without eyes. And then at the end of the movie, for no reason whatsoever, her long lost daughter Reagan, who she hasn't seen in years, for some reason decides to just turn up and reunite with her mother. It is bonkers fucking asinine. It doesn't make a lick of sense. That's why I said the utter disrespect towards a character. And like apparently Ellen Burstyn, when she was first like pitched this film, she said, "Hell no, absolutely not. Should have stayed with that girl. Like you should have stayed on the hell no side."
But I read why she took part in this show. Apparently, she was given a shit ton of money.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
she probably wants to give it to her family. Fair enough.
No. To an acting school. She wanted all the money given to her to be given
for a cause. Yeah,
to a cause. So props to her.
Again,
at least
this is nothing personal. There's nothing personal against her, but her character is bullshit in this film. The only character that has like any kind of semblance to them is Leslie Odom Jr.'s character, and he's probably like the main one. Everyone else is just like a caricature, stereotype nonsense. Like, it's really bad.
By the way, Tristian also agreeing with me. She is also loving Gen V so far. So far, we are truly loving it. So, your rating, Joe? Remind me what rating you gave for
it was initially 1.5, but now that I've ranted, I'm taking it down to a 1.
Go on.
It gets a 1 solely for some decent camera work. And that's it. And like to be fair, it looks good.
We did mention it looks okay in the trailer. Like visually, it looks fine. Like I'm sure the budget is not cheap here. Okay, that's the Exorcist Believer.
That's a good segue to William Friedkin's last movie, actually, which is miles better than Exorcist Believer.
I was going to say,
William, if there is an afterlife, I really hope you're haunting David Gordon Green. Make his life hell.
So, in fact, I was going to say it's quite ironic that on the same weekend that The Exorcist Believer comes out, Unfortunately, we have William Friedkin's last movie, his final movie released. Quite sad that it's released on streaming, and that's pretty much it. Like, I wish this could have gotten like a bigger release, more word of mouth about it, because this is, I always tell you guys, I love my dad movies. I love my dad movies, and this is a classic dad movie. One camera, great actors, one set, just all shot in one set. Great court case, very interesting case, fantastic writing, great performances, really well shot, making the most of the one shot, one location setting. What more is there to say? It's such a well-made court drama movie. William Friedkin excels with these kinds of things. This apparently was a book, which was then adapted into a play and then adapted into like 1 or 2 movies, apparently. But the adaptation here by Friedkin is fantastic. The cast is so good, man. Kiefer Sutherland, fantastic. Jason Clarke, very good. We've got Jake Lacy, I've seen this guy in so many things. Like,
yeah, he was in The Office for a bit. Oh yeah, Miss Lowen as well. White Lotus.
The White Lotus. That's why he reminded me of an asshole. Because he was the asshole in White Lotus.
He just has that face as well.
He has that face.
By the way, Andrea, did you know that Jason Clarke is actually Australian?
Yeah, he is,
what?
Yeah, he's Australian.
Shit. That he is.
All right.
I'm sure J.D. Plus is in this as well.
Very, very good in this. Jason Clarke, I'd say his is probably the best performance here. Kiefer Sutherland is also very good. His character is really interesting. Admiral Quake, Captain Quake. So overall, the cast is really good. Obviously, the last performance, unfortunately, by Lance Reddick, who, like any Lance Reddick performance, anytime he's on the screen, he just chews up all the lines he's given. He just dominates the screen. Fantastic performance as always by Lance Reddick. Overall, this is such a well-made court drama movie. I took down some notes whilst I was watching. Like I said, fantastic cast, great performances, single location, great writing, some very biting commentary as well. You can tell Friedkin really wanted to tackle like the way court cases tackle issues dealing with mental health. That's a big focus here. Also, the it's not really a word, but I don't know how to say it. It's like how performative court cases are, and how because for example, in this case, Jason Clarke's character, Greenwald, he's the lawyer who's defending Marek, who's Jake Lacy, and very performative. The whole lawyer thing is very performative, and you can tell there's a lot of social commentary there by Friedkin. It's 1 hour 50 minutes of people giving monologues, and if I had to tell you, 1 hour 15 minutes, I did not take my eyes once off the screen. I was 1 hour 50 minutes of give me more monologues, give me more speeches, give me more. Oh my god, it's just so well written. Very 90s movie. Very 90s movie in the way it's shot. The camera work is great in this as well. Just a fantastically written, fantastically performed, fantastically shot movie. Very simple. Don't go into it expecting lots of special effects and explosions. No, this is literally you've got 6, 7, 8 great actors on screen, always on screen, giving great monologues, giving great performances. That's it. That's pretty much it. So rest in peace, William Friedkin. You ended on a big high. And I'm very, very sad to say that. But at least, final great movie by the great William Friedkin. Rest in peace. So that's my thoughts on the Caine Mutiny Court-Martial. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Well worth the watch, guys. Moving on. Franco, which do you want to tackle first?
VHS
VHS?
85.
Let's do VHS 85. Great. Get into it.
VHS 85, it's part of the VHS series of, it's an anthology series where a group of well-known horror directors gather around and make these sort of a collection. Oh, it's because it's V, that's it. Yeah, V/H/S/S/85. Like this last one, it has Scott Derrickson as part of one of the directors directing a segment of the movie. Don't mind the rating on IMDb. Sometimes IMDb's rating is kind of like I don't understand why it's 5.8. It's not a 5.8 anthology because I feel VHS 85 is one of these stronger entries into the series. And this time round, it's unveiled through a made-for-TV documentary, 5 Days of Found Footage Horror, emerged to take viewers on a terrifying journey into the grim underbelly of the 1980s. Now, granted, found footage horror is slightly, not slightly, it's overdone. How can you do more from it? But I feel they try to do something with VHS 85, especially Scott Derrickson's segment. It goes, it tries to go beyond and found a method to unhinge itself from the conceit of found footage. I don't know if it worked to its fullest. Especially, I don't know if it sticks the landing. But I will give Scott Derrickson a bit of credit because he tries to break out from the rules and bend his rules towards his favor. Now, there's 3 particular segments that I like. Let's start from the positive actually, and the look of this entry. It looks amazing. It looks straight out of the 80s. Like the look is there. Like I saw a behind the scenes clip where they would actually play with the tape itself to create those glitches, those VHS glitches. So they do have some like care for the craft. I particularly liked the segment from Mexico. I think one of the directors was Gigi something. Could you open up the directors list, please?
Directors list. Yeah.
So yeah, Gigi Sol Guerrero. It was so good. Like Mexico, they're a TV crew, and all of a sudden an earthquake hits. We don't know what's happening, and then it's obviously, since it's VHS, we get to see what's behind it as well. God of Death. There's a moment I generally like Total Copy. Total Copy is the glue that holds these segments together, and it is filmed like those cheesy 80s documentaries with where the presenter walks to his cameras and has this very serious voice. It's like they found this kind of it's about a story of a blob in the form of a child, and they basically let him watch just TV almost all day long, and it pays off at the end. Like it's horrific, but at the same time I laughed out loud. It's such a good punchline, the end of it. And it's also another moment where I noticed like they tried not to keep like as far as possible. You know, the conceit with this movies is like keep filming, and it's like, why should we keep filming? But how they made it as well in the last segment of Total Copy, at least it made sense. I generally also like that there was 2 segments where they first we see one segment and you go and its ending goes like, oh, that's it, what's going to happen? But then it picks up again in another segment, which we're seeing still from, and it was really interesting the way I see it, and it's a kind of a particular event story. I suggested if you're a fan of practical effects horror, there's lots of practical effects in this horror. But even for the Mexico segment, there's a mixture of practical and VFX, visual effects. I'm not sure if they actually used footage from a horrible earthquake that happened in Mexico. I'm not sure, but it looked very real to me. Stylistically well made. Obviously, this is an anthology. Some people will like one segment better than the other. Others won't. There's one particular segment I also liked, like Techno Gods, like the way it starts off. It takes a bit of time to get into the proceedings, but at the end of it, it's like again. I mean, there's a bit of shock and all. It's entertaining. I'd give it a 3.5 on 5 or a 3 on 5. So if you want to get your Halloween spookiness going on, VHS is a good it's a good one. Actually, if I had to mention one of my two VHS, I feel like the first VHS is still my favorite. There's 2 segments over in it. I'm not sure if it's VHS 2 or VHS 1. Safe Haven, and the other one was something Party, if I'm not mistaken.
This is the first one?
Yeah.
VHS 2012? Right.
Avoid VHS viral, for sure.
There's that. There's 94.
Yeah, there's 6 entries. There's 94, 99, VHS 2, viral. I don't know if this is the same. Is it? I think that says
2018 though.
I'm not sure if it's this. This is on TV though. It was made for TV. It seems like. Like the one before it, I think it was. What was it? I think it was 99. There's the Flying Lotus segment, which is strange, and there's also Ratma. Anyway, do have a look at this.
Okay. Guys, who would like to take on Totally Killer to keep up the horror theme we have going right now?
No, I was gonna say like this. This is a Blumhouse movie. I mean, this is a movie I call like it does what it says on the tin. It's enjoyable. You don't expect any groundbreaking scenes or camera movements. Like I said, it's a Blumhouse solid. That's how I'm going to rate it.
Yeah, that's totally fine, inoffensive, you're in, you're out kind of film. It is Scream meets Back to the Future with none of the things that make those movies great, but with enough of the things that make those movies good.
True.
Like it's funny, guys. I laughed a lot.
You know what I wanted it to do more? I wanted it to be a bit more farcical and a bit more on the nose with certain things.
Yeah.
Like I thought the two like police chief characters like in the 80s segment, I thought they were like, if we were more on their wavelength for most of the time, and it was more like out and out slapstick comedy.
The police.
I thought I would have enjoyed it more if it was more like out and out slapstick and farcical.
True.
I love the quips. I love the quips by what's her name? Shipka, I think.
Caine
Shipka. The like all her like. Wait, you're gonna just give me the details on this kid? Like,
yeah.
This is so 80s.
Yeah, that's what I like. I liked when it was pointing out the obvious and stuff like that. That's what I mean as well. I didn't like some obvious name dropping in it, but that's just me.
It has that kind of things like wink, nudge, nudge. The weaponized intertextuality that you're speaking of.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, remember Back to the Future, and it's like I've seen the end of Avengers Endgame.
The Avengers Endgame made me laugh.
But also, like this film has nothing in common with Avengers Endgame. Like,
no, at all. Actually,
they go back to the future and change things. So,
but in Avengers Endgame, they don't go back in time; they go to a different timeline. There's a difference.
Oh God.
There's a difference.
They time slip basically.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
I mean, there is a risk in this movie, to not follow exactly where the timeline is heading as well. There was a bit of a risk. It was like, wait, what's happening? Especially with the reveals at the end.
Yeah.
And production design was great. Like the 80s were top notch. Like very
Actually,
good.
Costumes.
That was going to be
wigs.
one of my big criticisms of this film.
What? Yeah. Okay.
Not necessarily its production design. I mean, I watched this like on Prime, so I had it in like the highest quality you can get, like in like Ultra HD. It looks so TV.
TV.
Yeah, no, it does. It does.
Like it
True,
does not
true.
look like a film. Like to speak
True.
of something else that Caine and Shipka was in, which is apparently quite good, but I've never really watched it properly. It looks like an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like that
Yeah.
Netflix reboot. That reboot, you know. It did not look
No, it
like
does,
a
I would
properly
agree.
made film.
Yeah, it
But
is.
the blood looks fine. I thought the blood looked
Some
fine.
of the stabbing looks atrocious.
No, there was one of
The
them
blood looked fine. Well, for the most part.
No,
I'd
but
say.
there was one.
in the House
one
of
point-
Horrors.
Yeah, where he's stabbing the body on
Oh
the ground.
my
And, like,
God.
you can absolutely tell that the knife is not even
It's
connecting
CG.
with the skin. Yeah, it was really like I kind of like rolled my eyes now and Jesus Christ kind of thing. Like I've made stuff look better than that by buying like a prop knife from like a joke shop back in the day.
Yeah, it's like the Covenant. I'm going to get the Covenant buyout because the Covenant was such a great movie, and then there was that CG fucking planes. Like fuck, you know.
Yeah, but otherwise
But,
it's a completely inoffensive film. Like it's fine.
No, it's enjoyable. You want to kill 1 hour 46 minutes.
Did you guess who the killer was?
Sorry,
Like,
sorry.
I
for,
thought it was a bit
sorry for the
obvious.
pun. Sorry for the pun.
I didn't guess who the killer was. I guessed that there would be two killers by the end of it.
Two, yes.
They make too many references to Scream not
Yeah.
to have two killers. Like,
Yeah.
duh. I think I guessed one, but I didn't think about there being two. So, like, my guess was one of them, and I did guess actually correctly one of them. But then, obviously, when how easy it was to get the first one, I was like, yeah, then probably it's a second one now. And then that was the second one. So yeah, I think overall, what do you think about the kills? By the way, guys, I think overall the kills could have been a bit more,
They're very tame.
creative.
I mean, the whole film is pretty tame, to be fair. Like it's not trying to do anything new by any stretch of the imagination. So
Okay, VHS 85 is not as tame for sure. It's like there's one shot where you see someone's jaw just go poop like that.
this is the kind
just-
of film
yeah.
where when I was 11 years old and I told my mom I want to have a Halloween movie night, but she was the one that went to the DVD shop and rented a movie for me. This is exactly what you would have picked up.
Yes, it's very young adult. It's very young adult. I feel like very young adult. So, to be honest though, but the jokes were getting a bit annoying for me, especially these kind
Really?
of like. No, because look, I'd rather had. I agree with Joe. I'd rather it had a bit more of bottoms in it than just go like, oh my god,
Yeah.
we're in the 80s. This is so
That's
politically
actually
incorrect.
exactly what I thought. I'm like, if the sense of humor in this was more like bottoms, I'm like, this would have been
Yeah,
fantastic.
just don't like. It's the 80s. Make a joke about it. Move on. Don't contextualize it like, oh my god, this is
it does, huh? I like that element a lot. I like that element.
No,
That
but
was
it's
probably my favorite element of this movie. All the like quippy, quirky comments about the 80s and all the shit.
I'm
they did in the
also
80s.
just really sick of the 80s now.
true.
No,
Like,
fair enough.
The 80s, like, uncontroversial opinion, the 80s weren't that cool. We're looking at it through like the biggest rose-tinted glasses that we have because of like stuff like Stranger Things. Please, can we move on? Please.
nostalgia.
Hollywood.
It's the nostalgia factor. Yeah.
Yes, and again, intertextuality, relation to text. We can't, guys. None of the films we've mentioned so far do not have any kind of like. Actually, no. The only one that does is made by an actual director, which is by William Friedkin, which has no intertextuality in it so far.
True.
There is a lot of intertextuality, but different kind.
But what do you think? Do you think Fair Play has intertextuality? Sorry to make this kind of a sharp turn.
No. But we'll get to Fair Play. Fair Play is an actual
We'll
good
get to
film.
it. Rating, guys. Joe, rating for Totally Killer.
A hard 3.
3, yes.
enough.
3 on
Marco?
5. 3 on 5, yeah.
I don't know what I gave this on Letterboxd, but I think I gave it either a 3 or a 3.5. I think I gave it a 3 actually. But this is the more I think about.
Oh no,
Totally
I
Killer,
gave it a
more-
2.5.
Yeah, I gave it a
apparently.
3 as well.
I gave it a 2.5.
I gave it a 3. I gave it a 3. I think I could have given it a 3.5 because it's just a lot of fun. Like sometimes I'm just because it's always this with ratings, right? Because you're like a movie like how can you compare a movie like Totally Killer and rate it on the same rating scale as Killers of the Flower Moon? It's like
No.
it's like yes, maybe I give one a 3 and another, like, it's just in this case it's just a harmless, fun movie. I'm glad I watched it, so I don't feel like I wasted any time watching this. I just had a really good time watching it. Had a good laugh. I love the humor. So no, I'll give it a 3. I think it deserves a 3.
I think if I were to make a suggestion, if you want time travel and horror, Happy Death Day is much better.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I've seen a lot of people compare it to Happy Death Day.
That's Blumhouse as well, no?
I think so. Yes. And
quite the monopoly on horror. That's never a good thing.
the director also made another like sort of Freaky Friday meets slasher, which also works fine with Vince Vaughn in it.
Oh
I think is it by the same director? Totally Killer? No, I think Nahnatchka Khan, right?
Yeah.
This is Nahnatchka Khan.
Nahnatchka Khan. This is her feature-length debut. No, it's not. Maybe it is.
It could be, yeah.
I think
No. She did Always Be My Maybe. No, did she do Always Be My Maybe?
No, she did. Oh my god. I think it was Always Be My Maybe. I think.
Oh
right,
yeah, she did.
I was going to say Crazy Rich Asians, but I always get those two confused.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So, have Netflix finally given us a decent movie in
Fair play.
Fair Play? Let's find out. Who wants to start off, guys?
I'm actually just going to correct your statement because Netflix have not necessarily given us this good movie. They have merely distributed it for us.
Distributed it.
They have nothing to do with the production. I'm a stickler for that, but I feel like it has to be said.
Yeah.
So let's start. We should start with the synopsis for sure. So
yeah. Let me give you the synopsis. Basically, we've got Emily Myers and Luke Edmonds, who are analysts at One Crest Capital, a cutthroat Manhattan hedge fund. They are passionately in love with each other, although they keep that love a secret from their coworkers. However, their relationship comes to a brink and is threatened to unravel far more due to an unexpected promotion at their hedge fund. Franco, your thoughts?
let's start with the positives. It kept me thinking after watching it, so that's always a positive for me. It's like I keep replaying certain things in my head which I saw. Alton Ehrenreich was quite good. I feel like not to diminish what's her name. Phoebe Dynevor.
By the way, Solo is a good movie.
Solo.
By the way, no, it isn't.
Okay, because Andrea Ehrenreich was playing Han Solo. This is not Han Solo for sure.
No. Actual writers made this movie.
Yes. I feel I really hated Andrea Ehrenreich's character. He made him look the perfect word was. Would I be spoiling it though if I say the word? Anyway, just in case, spoiler. Right. I mean, the perfect word is pathetic.
Yeah.
So performances throughout good. I prefer now a bit negatives. I prefer the second half than the first half. It really took its time to get on. I feel it was a bit slow, and then during to the second half, it was getting like I was getting the anxiety with her mother calling on the phone and being such a nosy little bitch. Excuse me, I'm sorry, but
no, I agree, nosy bitch.
Yeah. I could be Phoebe Dynavor's character. For the themes that it explores, which are really important and really now teams, current day does, guys, very current day teams, it could have done a bit more. By the way, okay, another positive.
Franco.
Excuse me?
I thought it tackled the teams like head on. Like head on.
Yeah, but that's
it's get into the team and
yeah, but that's the thing now. But that's the thing, because then you, like that going for it head on, you lose a bit of the nuance and the subtlety. And my brother said.
By the way, I thought it was going to have a lot more ones than it actually has.
No. But my brother actually said like it gets a bit predictable as well.
That I will agree. But one of my big negatives, in fact, was that it's very, very predictable. Like you can see where this is going after 10, 20 minutes.
I mean, yeah, but that's kind of like the case of most of these. I mean, I guess this is technically an erotic thriller. As soon as the unexpected promotion happens, you know basically what is going to happen, but then it is how it happens.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Joe, what do you think?
I mean, I did like this film like quite a bit. I will say just because I heard a lot of like festival buzz about this, like at Toronto and stuff like that.
20 million Astra sold for 20 million.
So I was a little bit disappointed because I thought it was going to be this like big wow new film. It is definitely a good film. Like I can recommend it. It's definitely too long. Like you definitely could have done this in a tighter hour and a half. Absolutely, you can cut 20 minutes out of this film somewhere. But I did say like just the whole time, I was just like, and again, this just could be me being like really like high and mighty about myself. I could be completely delusional, but I'm just like, not a single adult decision with rationality was made by any of these characters in this film. Like and to be fair, like it's the world that it's trying to portray, this kind of cutthroat, hyper competitive, with acting on impulse and not with logic and reason and empathy kind of world, which I am not a part of. But the main lesson this movie taught me is I do not have the brains nor just like the mentality to get into being someone running a hedge fund on Wall Street. I just don't have it in me.
Hedge fund, bro.
I'm too nice to run a hedge fund. Like I'd fail in 5 minutes.
But I did like the development of Phoebe Dynover's character, because she goes from someone being pretty much just like a yes person with not much agency to really taking control at the end, although in a rather extreme way, not to spoil things. And I feel that then there was a lot less put on Alden Ehrenreich's character, because you can kind of tell from the off, like, this is a guy who's competitive but also insecure about what he does, probably a little bit of a bullshitter, and you can kind of see where he's going fairly instantly. Although then the performances both really, really good, I have to say. I thought they were both fantastic, and I don't think I've seen Phoebe Dynover in anything else before.
I don't think so either.
Or at least I can't think so. And it's nice to see, after the massive failure and shit film that was Solo, it's nice to see Alden Ehrenreich coming back and acting in actual films like in Oppenheimer and now this. So 2
very good performances this year.
Yes. And he was someone who, when he first came onto the scene, he was in the Coen brothers film Hail Caesar. Everyone was like, "Oh, like this new guy, like he's definitely going to be like the next big thing." And then he went straight to a really shit Star Wars movie.
She's in Bridgerton. Oh my God, she's the
How do you not know who she is and where she lives and what her address is? Like, you're the
did I not
biggest
recognize
fan.
her? How did I? Like, my girlfriend watched Bridgerton.
It must be all the costumes. She was apparently in Snatch as well, which is like
no, Snatch TV series though, not there's a TV series.
There was a TV series.
Yeah, don't ask me why.
No biggie. I don't like Guy Ritchie.
Snatch TV series.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a Snatch TV series?
It only lasted 1 season, so it must have been as good as all of Guy Ritchie's other work.
Oh, I love Snatch so much.
No, there is
Joe, anything else you want to add before I give my quick thoughts about it? And then we'll
not much else. I liked it quite a bit.
Franco, you want to add something before I go into my thoughts?
Like I said, I didn't love it. I liked it quite a bit. This is a debut movie, right, by Chloe Dumont. So it's promising. It's very promising. I agree with what Francesca said, because I saw her comment. I think Promising Young Woman did it better than Fair Play.
I haven't.
I
watched
think
that, so
I think the themes
comment.
are too different in this, though.
Still, but there's still like the kind of gender dynamics.
Yes, I know.
at play,
Definitely. Do agree that overall, Promising Young Woman is a much better film than this, which apparently is a controversial opinion to have because not a lot of people like Promising Young Woman apparently. But I think it's a great film.
I haven't watched it.
Really good film. But yeah, I think they're a bit too different and diverse to compare directly.
Yeah. This because Promising Young Woman has its fun. Fair Play takes itself more seriously.
Yeah, and Fair Play kind of more focuses a bit more on like women in business, women in the workplace kind of thing. Where Promising Young Woman is kind of like just like society's view of women as a whole.
No, in the movie I could see like lots of sparks. Like there's lots of potential. Like I look forward to see what if like Chloe Dumont will go places. She hones her skills better.
Definitely. So to conclude, guys, just gonna give my quick thoughts about it. So I think I'm a bit more positive than you were on this movie. So I thought the performances, I agree with you. Alden Ehrenreich and Phoebe Deneuve were fantastic, two great performances. I thought that the performances felt very natural, but at the same time, as they, like you see the story developing, you can see them on both cases developing and becoming more like extreme and always becoming even. And like Joe, you said that like not one single adult decision was taken.
None, not a
but
single
I think,
one.
Yeah, I think like even for example, the decision when this is a bit of a spoiler, but I have to mention it as an example. When she's deciding whether to sit on his face at home or go to a strip club. And she decides to go to a strip club. Now, I don't know what the thought process was there. Was she trying to make him feel guilty?
I think she was trying to make him feel jealous.
Was she trying to like one up him? Or I don't know what the thought process was there. But I thought like I can see someone in her position taking that decision. I wouldn't do it because I feel that's shit.
Yeah, that's not to say that these decisions are like unrealistic, but none of them are adult.
No, 100%. So I was like, yes, I can imagine someone like that character doing exactly that, right? Which is a big positive for me. I was scared at the like opening like few minutes. I was scared I was going to be lost in all the hedge fund shit. I really couldn't give a fuck about any of that. But I was fully in this movie for the 1 hour 50 minutes runtime. I was fully in. On the argument of is it too long, I can see it being, yes, a tad too long. You could cut out 10, 15 minutes, but would you lose maybe some of the development you have? Maybe, I don't know. If you would lose out on some of the development we have there. But I will disagree with you, Franco, like we mentioned before, on the teams. I thought it tackles the teams really, really, really well. Like, even just the small the comments between the co-workers about how she managed to become, what do they call them, a PM?
Yeah, portfolio manager.
Yeah. Like, oh, she must have fucked the other guy, right? So, like these small comments are comments I can imagine in any of these hedge funds. Anytime a woman gets a promotion, I can imagine these kinds of comments.
No, Andrea, let me clarify. It's not that she like if I had to give a score of how she handled the teams, 7 on 10, out of 10. So because it's not a full 10 on 10 because of the nuance and because one, like Joe said, there was a bit of like immature decisions being taken. 3, I actually want to ask you something, but like finish your thought first, Andrea, and then.
All right.
No, but like I said, I'm still thinking about it, and you're right, but because all of a sudden, like again, spoiler, when she meets the boss and she says her story, it's a very mature decision that she goes and what she says was very mature from her part, but. Then at the same time, that scene is saved by what the character of Eddie Marson says. In this world, there's no accountability. What else? No accountability.
No accountability.
It's a great line. You see, that's why I'm saying sometimes like okay, but sometimes there's the sparks. And that's I think one particular scene where there's sometimes like okay, and then there's that spark of the line.
So to conclude, like I think those themes are, in my opinion, obviously, I think those themes are tackled really, really well. Even just the idea that, this is embedded in our in I mean, not just Western society, but we are in Western society, that the male figure in the household has to earn more money than
True.
the woman in a heterosexual relationship. Like just that concept, the way it tackles it really well. And it's not something like I think about every day, but watching this with Tricienne, at least the first half, I had to go to sleep because she was tired. But I think she's watching it now after the podcast. Please, Tri. She did, like the way it tackled that element, had us discussing it a lot. So in my opinion, at least, it does challenge our views and things we take for granted, things that are truly embedded in our like way of thinking about like the male figure in a heterosexual relationship being the provider. So that it does, in my opinion, really, really well. But the predictability was the one big negative, I would say. Also, the tension, guys. I don't know if you mentioned it, but it really develops the tension really, really well. Like I was so tense the last hour of this movie. I was like holding my breath throughout, and then maybe we can conclude with the ending. Like the whole outburst, like was very well done in my opinion. I know a lot of people were critical of the ending. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter also criticizing. Even Francesca Vella wasn't too sure about the ending. I thought it ended it not perfectly, but close to perfect in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Obviously, spoilers for the ending. Joe, I don't know if you want to get into it, or Franco.
I don't have many thoughts, to be honest. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine as well. Like, I was going to ask you guys, by the way, because I kept on thinking, like, would I do that? Would I really be such a baby about someone getting a promotion? Because I'm like, hey, I mean, if we can still keep a good functioning working relationship, as she was aiming to do, fine by me. It's like I felt as the character was so, he took it so, had in what you say, Vera had a big bira. It's like, Jesus Christ, he really took it badly, this guy.
Yeah, grow up.
Yeah, grow the fuck up for sure.
Yeah,
but that's a personality that we see a lot in this, especially in this world, in this like we say, this cutthroat hedge fund. There are a lot of babies, with tiny dicks who think they're God's gift to earth.
Yeah.
And the moment their bubble is burst,
well, his whole thing as well,
you have the final 20 minutes,
is that he idolized a toxic person as well. But anyway, I won't get into that because that's technically a spoiler.
Yeah. So, no, I really like this movie. Ratings, guys, what do you think?
3.5.
3.5 as well. Yeah.
Okay, I gave this a 4. I really, really like this movie. I'd put this in one of my, wouldn't say like my top favorites of the year, but
also it gets an honorable mention from me for sure.
As long as Air is no longer in your top of the year, we're fine.
Oh god. I mean, Solo's on his top 10, huh?
Here we go.
Mena, so far. Oppenheimer, Barbie, Spider-Man. Oh shit.
That's fucking ridiculous. You gave it a 4.5? You gave it a near perfect film?
Yes.
That's batshit, my friend.
Wait, 4.5 is not near perfect.
Of course it is, because a 5 is perfect.
4.5 is great.
Well, yes.
Great movie.
It's not a great
It's an amazing movie. I thought it was an amazing.
It's a really expensive commercial. There is nothing surprising about it. It is all there as a circle jerk for Nike.
Oh, as Boara, no one will save you over there, Joe.
That's a good film. That's fine.
That's fine.
I'd understand more if you gave that 4.5.
Jesus Christ, reality was this year. Lala.
I didn't even watch reality yet.
This is my list, guys, by the way. I think bottoms should be higher. Oppenheimer, Barbie,
Spider-Man. I'm curious to check mine.
I want Evil Dead. I want to see Evil Dead. I have to get to it.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th place for Fair Play. Ahead of it, there's Bottoms in 14th, Evil Dead Rise in 13th, Reality 12. Maybe Talk to Me should get a higher.
Okay. So
I
I've
think Talk
got
to Me should be a
from
bit higher.
films this year.
You have a
Oppenheimer.
list, Joe.
Yes, Oppenheimer, Hitman, Babylon. It's still there. Oppenheimer, Hitman, Babylon, Blackberry, Barbie, John Wick 4, Talk to Me. Pretty good so far, I think. I've given a lot of 4.5s. I'll have to review that.
I don't know. I have to get on this letterbox. I still have.
Do you ever go around, Joe, just like change your ratings? Like, just like, oh, this isn't a 3.5. This is such a 3.
It depends. It depends how like relevant it is. Otherwise, I'll rewatch something. Like one I need to rewatch actually is Rogue One, since we mentioned it before. I want to now that I have Andor, I want to go back and I want to see like, do I care a bit?
Sorry guys, I'm yawning. Sorry.
I think okay, Franco, with that yawn, we can.
Yeah, it's. Sorry for the cue. I'm like the lion of the MGMs. Like, wow.
So, thank you to our viewers and listeners as always for joining us. Let us know in the comment section below. What did you think about all these movies? We've talked about a lot of movies today. Holy shit!
Yeah, it's been a big one.
Totally Killer, VHS 85, Fair Play, Caine Mutiny Court-Martial. Go watch that, guys. It's a very good.
We did our homework, basically. We are reviewers now.
The Reckoning, all good series. The Continental, Ahsoka. Joe thinks it's okay, right, Joe? I'll let you know when I finish Rebels. I have to finish my homework. Jesus, so many episodes. So let us know in the comment section below your thoughts if you've watched any of these movies. Are you looking forward to watching them? If you have not, let us know in the comment section below. Also, like and subscribe. Heart, if you're listening to this on Spotify, I'll release this tomorrow or Friday. I'll see when I find the time. But thank you, Franco. Thank you, Joe. Always a great time.
Thank you, Andrea.
You guys.
Thank you, Andrea.
And we can end it here. Peace.